All right, welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. The deal is we want to be free. What do we want to be free from? Tyranny. That's why we expose tyranny. Have nothing to do with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. Isn't that what the Bible say? Isn't that what the Bible say? What I think I'm going to do today, this is my first time streaming on my channel with StreamYard, so that enables me to take calls that are not poor quality like I've been doing. People are like, man, could you dispense with the Mickey Mouse nonsense and get some real streaming service so we can actually have a good dialogue? So I am going to do that. So I will be adding the StreamYard link if you want to join. Now, my caveat to this thing is, yeah, you can say whatever you want to say. I don't care. I mean, if you want to disagree, I'm fine with that. If you want to have like a mini debate or whatever, I would rather have a conversation and find out where we disagree and what we can do to resolve whatever issue we have between us. Because I think most people understand that, hey, we do need to move away from tyranny. We need to stop with the government intrusion. We need to quit with the police brutality. We need to make sure that we're all treating each other like humans. I think most people who are sane and objective will agree with all of that. But if there's something that we disagree with, then hey, let's talk about it. I don't shy away from people who want to talk about things that I disagree with. As a matter of fact, I would rather, in a lot of cases, talk to people who disagree with me because I fear that it's too easy to lock ourselves in our own echo chamber and start formulating our own thoughts, get people around us, surrounding us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, telling us what we already know, preaching to the choir. There's no growth in that. I want to hear people who disagree. And I just believe that good ideas, moral ideas, objective ideas, ideas that lend themselves toward peace are the ideas that will eventually rise to the top. Because right now, you got to admit, we are being dominated by evil. And if the problem, and this is my contention, if the problem in the world is that there are evil people, then the last thing you want to do is give some of those evil people a monopoly on force and power and tell them that they're the authorities, that they're the officials. So put a one in the room. Can you guys hear okay? People are saying they have an audio issue. If you guys can hear me okay, give me a 5x5 and then we'll go ahead and get started. There's a couple of videos that I wanted to take a look at while we work our way toward the call-in session, which again, I will put the link in the comments below, but this is my first time doing that. I had to set up a whole bunch of stuff on my StreamYard for this video right here. 5x5, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Vape King. What's up, Bob Smith? If you want to get your message across and you want to get my attention, probably the best way to do it is a super chat. I hate suggesting that to anybody because I think YouTube takes like 40% of a super chat. That means for every $10 that you give or every $100 you give, they take 40 of it. Crazy stuff. So let's see, but we can hear it. Okay. Oh, there's an echo? Wait, there's an echo? Why is there an echo? Hold on, I got to check this. Why would there be an echo? There should not be an echo. Let's see. Is there an echo? Hold on, I got to check this. Whoa, why would there be an echo? Okay, so that means, hold on, let me get to my StreamYard. I think I know what's going on here. It's not recording my mic. Let me get my, thought I had this. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's got my webcam mic on. Let's see. Audio. Hit speaker, mic. Yeah, it's got that. Let's see. This should help. Yeah, that should help. Speaker, headphones, mic insert. Let's see. That should work. I'm not familiar with all these tools, and let's see if that's better. Testing 1 2 3. Let me just double check here. There should not be an echo. See if that's better. Oh yeah, that's way better. Way better. Thank you guys. Thanks for letting me know. God, I hate that. I hate a mic that brings in all the sound in the room. I'd rather have a dedicated mic. Audio is almost, well, it probably is more important than video because at least with audio, you can just, you don't have to look at the screen. You can just hear what's being said. the message being conveyed is probably the most important issue here. Let me get back to my screen. All right. Oh, how to keep the most cash? Oh, it would probably be Cash App. Let me just, I'll go ahead and drop that link. I don't think I have any mods right now. So let me just go ahead and drop that if you guys want to do that. And I'll have my phone right out here. So if you guys want to send a Cash App, we can do it that way. Let's just go ahead and give you, or there's a buy me a coffee too. I kind of like that. All right, there's the Cash App link, and let me just pin that just so I don't have to do it again. Pin message. All right, there's the Cash App if you guys want to do that, and I'll just keep my phone open. I got it charged up, and I'll give you a shout out. And I think the thing with Cash App is they only give you a couple of lines if you guys wanted to send a message with that. But I'll have that set up right here. Let's look at this first video. And then we'll do a kind of a mini call in, and then we'll toggle in between videos. But this is a video that I saw yesterday. Pretty interesting. I think this is the Arkansas State Police. Let me see if I'm right here. I'm pretty sure this was Arkansas. We'll be corrected here in a second, but I want to show you the length to which the troopers will go to put other people on the road in danger as they're pursuing this motorcyclist who is exceeding 140 miles per hour.
On November 8th, 2023, an Arkansas state trooper was on a routine patrol when he saw a motorcycle lane splitting. Lane splitting may be legal in California, but not in Arkansas. Also not legal in Arkansas, going double the speed limit, the trooper quickly flips on his lights and sirens, attempting to pull over the suspect.
It's pretty amazing how fast this guy goes.
One where officers utilize a tactic never seen before on this channel.
The tactic was absolutely ridiculous, putting people in danger.
A black motorcycle, running kind of camera. 134, speed about 130. 130.
This second officer is traveling northbound on I-430, while the pursuing officer is traveling eastbound on I-40. This second officer is likely...
Now, if the danger is that the motorcyclist is putting motorists at risk, that's one person on the road putting somebody at risk. And a motorcycle is not going to be as dangerous putting other people at risk as a vehicle with four wheels. But now you've got a first officer involved. So now you got the motorcyclist and a trooper, and then you'll get a third trooper and then a fourth trooper. Now you have four people. I'm sorry, a third trooper. Now you'll have four people on the road putting everybody around at risk. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And some people would go, well, why not just get the tag off the motorcycle? This guy is not only speeding and disregarding his own life and probably lives of other people on the road, but he also doesn't have a tag. But you could put a helicopter in the air. You have radios. You could set up checkpoints or whatever. You don't have to put everybody in the road. There are options. And from the end of this video, it looks like this guy does this just so he can get an adrenaline rush, because he'll admit that he's never been pulled over before. And according to the narrator of this video, he doesn't have a record. So he has successfully eluded police before by the cop's own testimony. But, I think people do this just to see if they can get away from the cops. And you may be able to outrun a cruiser or two, but you will never be able to outrun the radio.
37 coming out 430 right now. That'll be up.
130 miles per hour. He's going to go up to 142 is the max they clock him at.
37
don't try to break your neck getting up there. He's able to stay with it.
Yeah, don't try to break your neck getting up here, and don't try to break anybody else's neck too, because as you, trooper, weave in and out of traffic, you are also putting people in jeopardy. Yeah, you definitely listen to this. Listen to the cruiser's motor wind up.
Yeah, he's about 130.
130. Man, somebody jerks out in front of you and you don't have a Kevlar uniform on, you are going to be erased. Knees banged up, limbs broken.
Okay, listen, he gets to that crash, should get that traffic back up, there's no damn shame to walk in.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like 130 miles per hour to me, because if those cars are doing 60 or 70 miles per hour, if he was doing 130, which would be double that, double 60, more than double, seems like he'd be zipping by him a whole lot faster. I have seen that, Arkansas Mike. I have seen that. Arkansas Mike says, yeah, don't come to Arkansas effing around, or you'll find out Arkansas state troopers will not quit.
A third officer joins the pursuit and jumps onto 40 East, just behind the initial cruiser. The second cruiser is still traveling northbound on I-430, and it looks like he won't be able to catch up in time to continue the chase on I-40. However, the suspect is coming up to this fork in the highway. He can either continue east on I-40, or he could decide to take an exit to travel southbound on I-430 and unknowingly travel towards the second pursuing officer.
This guy's going, man, this is a blast running from these troopers. I live for this stuff. I don't know if this is a cop loving channel, Swamp Lover. I just think they just upload body cams and dash cams. It's called Midwest Safety. They're growing exponentially as a channel. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's going 130 or 142 at all. It is interesting the option they choose to stop him, though. If you haven't seen this before, wait till you see what the last cop does.
The suspect did take the I-430 south exit and is now heading directly towards the second officer. Thinking fast, the officer drives his cruiser over the median in an attempt to make a blockade on the highway.
Now, can you see this guy? Look at this. Here's the option he chose to exercise. He's waiting in the median, facing in the opposite direction of oncoming traffic, and he's going to pull his cruiser up in front of oncoming traffic.
430 southbound. And then on the shoulder right now. 430 south, get ready to go up to 12.
Look at this. Yeah, that's not dangerous. What if he caused a collision? What do you think would happen to this cop if he caused a driver who may not have been paying attention like they should have, or just couldn't brake fast enough, caused a head-on collision and killed somebody? Or how about not just one person, killed an entire family? What if that car hit this person and careened into another vehicle, harming or killing the people in that vehicle? Do you think that this cop would be held accountable based on what we've seen in the past? Look at this. Dangerous for all involved.
Right now. 430 south, get ready to go up to 12.
So now the cop jumps out in traffic. He decelerates to about 30 or 40, goes off into the grass, and then lays his bike down.
He wrecked out.
Hey, get on the ground! On the ground now!
Now is when your life is in jeopardy. You thought your life was in jeopardy before when you were going over 100 and something miles per hour, if that's even true. Now your life is really hanging in the balance because the Arkansas State PIGs are going to jump on your back. You better keep your helmet on.
Ground!
Oh, they love that. They love dogpiling.
Hey, shut the f*** up! Hey, shut up!
All these cops that look out of shape, they're like, man, I'm so glad we didn't have to run after this guy. Good thing he didn't run off into the woods over there.
I don't give a fuck. We're cutting it. I don't give a shit. I'm cutting your helmet off too.
Yeah, you've heard of a dog pile. Well, this right here is a hog pile.
It's a little pull tab.
I don't care.
Red tab.
I don't care. It's getting cut off.
Okay.
David McDonald, thank you for that Cash App donation. He says, it's the patrol officer that's the problem. Crazy. Can I get some looser cuffs? The guy's making requests of the cops, like the cops are, the cops don't give a damn about you. They especially don't give a damn about you when you almost outran them. And have outrun them in the past, apparently.
Stop facing this way.
Yeah, Clint says probably a good thing he kept his helmet on, or they would have kneed him in the back of the head. No doubt.
Hey, face the car. The right remain silent. You understand your rights? Yes, sir. Bike stolen?
Yes, sir. I just found it on Saturday. I have the bill of sale on the phone.
Slide in.
That. Can I pull these pants
Get
up
in.
real quick?
Can you loosen the cuffs? Can I pull my pants up? Do I get a phone call?
I don't have much to say to y'all, but I apologize. That was stupid. I shouldn't have.
You're right.
I shouldn't have put y'all through that.
Ronald, take a picture of where this gun is.
Oh my God, Ronald, we got a gun here in the state of Arkansas. You know, we don't care much for the Second Amendment. He's got a gun. We got to take him down, man.
Let me get my camera.
Yes, sir.
How do you run off the road? I blocked this lane and the shoulder.
That's the only reason the damn pursuit stopped.
Yeah. He can either stop or run off the road.
Using the math seen here on screen, we estimate that the suspect is traveling roughly 32 to 45 miles per hour when he passes in front of this cruiser. By employing this novel approach, not only does this tactic bring the vehicular chase to an abrupt halt, but it also cleverly prompts the motorcyclist to swiftly and substantially reduce their speed to a much safer level, far below 142 miles per hour.
Had you not done what you did, he'd still be running right now. He's got no criminal history at all. Running just to be running. No dope, no criminal history.
How about by employing this novel approach, the Arkansas state troopers are lucky they didn't kill somebody.
History. He's just running for no reason. Maybe dope on him? No. He's never even been arrested. It is what it is. The exact same bike that I chased a couple months ago. And he was driving the same too. Doing is like he's getting on top of it, weaving real hard, like trying to shake it, just being stupid, you know.
According to a police report, officers discovered he was carrying a blue pistol with an extra magazine in his backpack.
Watch all the charges they slapped this guy with. Does he not look like a young Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses?
Multiple officers in the area noted that they witnessed who they believed to be the same rider speeding excessively days prior, but were not able to stop him. The report lists charges for 1 felony for fleeing in a vehicle causing substantial danger, and several misdemeanors including reckless driving, speeding more than 15 over the limit, which, in this case, it was likely more than 65 miles over the speed limit, improper, unsafe lane change, improper passing on left, improper passing on right, failure to use turn signal, driving vehicle without tags, no proof of insurance, and no motorcycle endorsement. His current court case verdict and sentencing are currently unknown. We found out about this incident thanks to safetyvid.org, which caught the crash on this Arkansas DOT camera.
By the way, I think safetyvid.org is owned by this channel, Midwest Safety. I looked into it. Just getting one of the traffic camera videos is like $189. It's truly ridiculous.
To get footage of your freeway crash caught on a traffic camera.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to, here's the invitation link if you guys want to join the stream. And, you know, again, my caveat to doing this is I'm not just here to shoot the breeze. I like talking with you guys, but I definitely want to open this up to people who've got something to say that's going to benefit the audience. So there's the StreamYard link. If you guys want to join an open discussion, I might bring max 2 people on board and hopefully we can have a pretty good discussion. Did he get life? I think he got, let's see, there was an update under this. Let's see. There was a reply from Midwest Safety. Turns out 12 points on his record, according to the police report. 12 points on your record, which means, I mean, I don't think that's going to bother the guy. He didn't have a plate and probably didn't have a license anyway. So he's going to be back out there. They probably impounded his motorcycle and aren't going to give it back. Interesting. Another thing, this happened in Oklahoma City. This was uploaded 21 hours ago. I don't know if you've seen this. Is from the police activity channel. Unbelievable how this woman walks out of her house. It's almost like she had a death wish and she wanted that by cop. So let's take a look at this. The body cam's muted. It's about to go hot here in a second.
Come out with your hands up! Come out with your hands up!
This is Oklahoma City Police. Officer Daniel Reedy's dash cam. Look how she comes out. Check her out. Can you see her? Nobody in their right mind would do this. Not anybody who's ever seen a video of how skittish and scared cops are. Oh my God, she's got a gun. She's got some kind of jacket or some kind of article of clothing or some cloth over her right hand. This just looks like she's either not thinking straight.
Someone go let sleeper.
Or she is thinking straight and she wants to be eliminated from the earth.
Drop it now.
I don't know why he deployed his taser. You're going to see from the other body cam perspective that he deployed his taser like 20, 25 feet away. Plus, she's wearing all these clothing. I don't think those probes penetrated anything.
Drop it. Drop the gun.
Yes. Very good way to put it, Steve Aru. Self-deletion by cop.
Someone go let sleeper. Drop it now. Drop it! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop
Drop the gun!
Look at her.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
I'm gonna mute the sound. I don't think they hit her. I have not seen the news report on this, but you can tell from the watch the action of this gun right here. It looks like he fired off about four or five shots.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop.
Get on the ground!
Pointing and drop.
That's not a gun. It's not a gun. It's not a gun. It's not a gun.
Drop the gun! Drop.
Get on the ground!
Pointing and drop.
That's not a gun. It's not a gun. It's not a gun. It's not a gun.
It's just weird. She must be on. Oh, he just tased her right there. I haven't seen that part. Pretty amazing that she didn't die. Remember the airman from Okaloosa, Florida, last week came to the door with his personal protection device, and they eliminated him from the face of the earth. Let's see what the story is behind this. May 5th, 2024, Oklahoma City police officers responded to this address right here in reference to a domestic where a female shot a male in the chest. When officers arrived, they located... So they have reason to believe that she probably has a gun because the report is that she already shot a male in the chest. When officers arrived, they located the adult male victim in the front of the house and moved him to a safe location to receive medical assistance. I wonder if that initial report was true. Officers called for the female subject, identified as Lisa Daniels, to exit the home. The suspect yelled to the officers she had a gun. Officers got into position to cover outside of the residence. Daniels exited the home minutes later with a sweater over her hand, making motions as if she had a gun in her hand. I can only surmise from that she wanted to be ended, because nobody in their right mind would do that. It's like self-preservation kicks in. It's like, hey, don't kill me. I'm coming out with my hands up. I mean you no harm. Daniels began to approach an officer while raising her hand when the officer discharged his firearm toward her. Daniels was not struck by the officer's gunfire. As the suspect turned, officers were able to determine she did not have a gun under the sweater and were able to successfully tase her. I mean, I hate to say it, but good for them for not jumping the gun, no pun intended. Daniels was taken into custody and booked in the Oklahoma County Detention Center for domestic assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. The gunshot victim was transported to an area hospital and is expected to survive. The involved officer has been placed on routine administrative leave. That's paid vacation pending the outcome of the investigation. There were no other injuries reported. Very interesting. So apparently nobody wants to come forward. Is the link working? Maybe I don't have things set up, or maybe nobody wants to come in and have a substantial chat. 142 is the exit number they passed, not the speed. Really? According to Midwest Safety, they were saying 142 miles per hour was the speed because he even posted it on, let's go look at it. I'm fairly certain he said it was 142 miles per hour. Yeah. 142 miles per hour in a 75 mile per hour zone. So if that's not the case and it is mile marker 142, then Midwest Safety got it wrong. Good eye on that if that's true. CCW's on. What's up, CCW? You're on, man. How you doing?
Hey, brother. What's up? How you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just doing a little programming here myself for a client and scrolling through my phone and saw you were live. So, and then I saw that nobody was jumping on. I was like, well, man, I'll jump on. It's all good.
Cool. What state are you in?
California, San Diego.
Oh, nice. And you're a CCW holder?
No, brother. I'm California Citizen Watch.
Oh, CCW is your name. Sorry, man. All right, man. Well, hey, welcome to the channel, man.
No, brother. Are you kidding? It is a privilege to be on here with you, big dog. Thank you for holding down the fort.
Let me see if I can pull you up on the go. Tell us what's going on in your neck of the woods, man. I'm going to try to pull up your channel while you're talking.
Oh, right on. Oh, dude, I got all kinds of crap going on. I don't know why you're so low on my volume. That's peculiar, but whatever.
Maybe
No,
here, is that better? I turned my gain up.
oh yeah, I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm on my phone. I'm in the middle of programming, so I got the laptop and the tower working at the same time. I can't jump on YouTube. So I don't know, brother. I'm just out here now with my new reclaimed I don't know what you want to call it now that Furry is in jail awaiting prison, and I can pretty much come out of hiding at this point from being threatened to be killed and having my animals kidnapped and killed. So
Give me your full channel name. It's not coming up on my Firefox browser. Give it to me.
California Citizen Watch.
Okay, go ahead, man. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, you should see the picture of Groot and Bandit.
Yeah, I see it. I'm there. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good, brother. So, and I've just been out blasting the frauditors that are out here, and at the same time, seriously shouting out the sovereign citizen Judge Zimmerman that has done ill-gotten gains to Chile. I mean, and granted, I was listening. I was on that live stream when he made that phone call, and then they shut him off. It's like, and you even said, well, usually we've got 1 minute until they tell him to shut it off, and then it just went dark.
Right.
And then since then, his life has gone sideways. Because the judge is saying, well, we heard you talking shit on the phone too. And it's like, I mean, what happened to free speech in this country? No one got hurt. Except the judge's ego and the cop's ego.
Right.
It's the same thing with Eric. I mean, do I approve of the styles? No, but that's America. Everybody has their right to do shit. As long as people ain't getting hurt, and Chile never hurt nobody. Eric never hurt nobody. The judge's ego certainly got hurt. And therefore now these guys are incarcerated while and who was it? Vitaly Predators for Pedos or whatever, that channel. He busted the guy who wrote Space Jam or whatever. I was talking about that on live streaming a while ago. That guy's out walking the streets, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's never commensurate with the crime. Like somebody commits a legitimate crime and Just a second. Can you guys hear me okay now? Sorry about that. I think hold on a second. All right, what's going on here? All right. Nope, that's not. Add to state. Let's see. I'm getting my own reverb. Mute. All right. Can you guys hear okay? It's good now. Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me. 3 tabs open at once. I don't know what that was. I lost CCW. CCW, if you can call me back. I pulled up his website. It deleted one of my stream tabs and opened up 3 other ones. What's up, Breaking the Flaw?
How's it going? Can you hear me?
Now I can't hear Breaking the Flaw. Hold on a second.
Maybe it's me.
Because I got that muted. Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if it was my end. How's it going, Brian?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Busy working, that sort. Yep. But I have I thought I'd call in and let everyone know that I have trial Tuesday for recording in the courtroom. But I follow the rules to the T. I fill out my forms anonymously. So you fill out a form called Rule 78 in district courts so that you can record. It's a notification. I am notifying the court that I'm going to record. The judge denied me because I did it anonymously with the improper signature. By the way, that evidence was destroyed, that paperwork that I got a copy of later on, and the judge rewrote it. So they falsified evidence. Not only that, though, she can't deny it because of an improper signature. Anyways, that's why I walked into the courtroom, continued to record Press NH Now's, arraignment. And during that, when I was getting arrested, Press NH Now got charged with simple assault on a bailiff. That was after the fact, a few days later. But I'm challenging the courts on a different kind of merit. Let me explain real quick. So they charged me with criminal trespass and disorderly conduct. And what ended up happening is I got a representation of a former New Hampshire state trooper, Bradley Jardis, and he's acting as my non-attorney representation. So he's challenging the law as well as I am by being a non-attorney representation. And
now, how does that work? Non-attorney representation.
So to be considered a non-attorney representative, you have to not practice as an attorney often. So if you did like 2 cases in a row, they'll consider that you're acting as an attorney. So as long as you do it like sporadically and not often and not for money, you're considered a non-attorney representation. And trust me, my representation, Bradley, he knows the law to the T because he's a former New Hampshire state trooper. Actually, the youngest ever in New Hampshire, which is interesting too.
And how did you find him?
I ran into him a long time ago, over 10 years ago, 11 years ago to be exact, on a farm that I was working on. He ended up working there as well. And we became really good friends at that point. And he's been an activist himself, and he's taking on my case. And we are completely open about our defense and what we're doing, and I'll explain that in a second. But you can go to freekeene, KEENE.com, and you can see the entire defense and how we're presenting our defense as we're doing it, as we're filing motions, as we're communicating with the prosecutor. It's all open. And we're doing that so that way you have input, other attorneys have input, and whoever just wants to speak out about it, regardless if we believe them or like it or whatever, we're taking the opinion, and we have a really fine-tuned argument in the court. Now, what's my argument? Well, my argument is they're right. I did break the law. Now, that sounds like a cop-out, right? Nope, it's not a cop-out. I forget the Latin term, but because I've done anonymous requests in court previously, actually 6 of them, anonymously for the name, and I gave a signature of a straight line on all these forms, like dozens and dozens of forms. So we've subpoenaed other courts for these request forms, and what we're saying is all the other courts were wrong allowing me to do the anonymous request, and that I was in good faith going into the Hillsborough court with the knowledge that I was doing this correctly. As in, I thought I was following the law because the other court said I was following the law, and that actually I wasn't following it. You get where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Okay. So if I was in belief that I was doing it faithfully, following the law, and I did it wrong, am I really to blame? Especially when other judicials have said that I was doing it correctly. That's our argument, and it's probably, I hope it gets thrown out, but court's Tuesday, trial's Tuesday, and if we lose, we will be taking it to the Supreme Court, challenging it all the way. There's no way we could lose. I think there's jurisdiction problems because I'm having my trial in the same courtroom as where I got arrested, so there's a lot of conflict there, including the prosecutor and the bailiffs. They were all there. They're witnesses, they're accomplices to the crime, and that sort of thing. Oh, excuse me, they didn't commit a crime. I did, but not knowingly. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
see. That's what I hate about this whole thing is that we could keep it way more simple by defining what a crime is and sticking with that definition. Because I don't see how it's like you and I could make up any code, rule, regulation, policy, and if somebody doesn't follow our code, rule, regulation, and policy, we can say that they commit a crime. But when there's no victim, and I know we live in this world of rules and regulations and policies that trump individual rights, but I think we as humanity would greatly benefit if we could just move away from criminal activity is breaking statutory policy and move closer to, oh, you've committed a crime if you raped, if you murdered, if you defrauded, if you stole property or damaged property and didn't pay for it. But I get what you're saying. So the only charge that they've got you on is that you recorded in a courtroom when they told you not to?
That's not the charge. I was criminally trespassed because I was told to leave and I refused, and disorderly conduct because I was calling them terrorists outside.
Okay.
When they were arresting me, but there was no one else around. So even the prosecutors already agreed that the disorderly conduct should be thrown out. So it's not official yet. It's just, he agreed that that would be not prudent because there's no complaining party other than the cops. You know what I mean? You can't, in New Hampshire, there is no disorderly conduct, contempt of cop. You can't, there is no such thing. It should be thrown out. At my last trial that I had, I was found guilty for that charge. And I'm trying to appeal it, but it doesn't seem like I can really win this case, that other case.
Is there any precedent for this? Has anybody else been charged with the same thing? And
yeah, case law for sure. And I presented the case law, and the judge didn't give a
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did the judge say when you did present that?
Well, she just gave a generic response because she knew that I was going through appeals. So she just gave, I believe the prosecutor has the burden of proof. She didn't go into fine detail, and I think that was purposeful for the appeals. But I'm probably not going to go to appeals. The judge already did sentencing, and I argued down to basically half the value of fine, and then I still requested community service. So I don't mind. I already do community service. I already help out the community in many ways. I'm just going to record my hours now. That's it. Whatever. But I just feel like I'm being kind of enslaved in their purpose too. But they're not getting my money. I tell you that right now.
The courtroom that you're going to be in on Tuesday, does it have any courtroom video cameras that you'll be able to access and FOIA request later?
Yes, but I don't need to do that since I'll have plenty of activists there recording.
Oh, okay. So they will be able to record then.
Yeah, and I do ask people to properly fill out the form. My premise now is change, right? Like that you should fill out your name and sign it correctly for your permission slip. Notification form. And in my opinion, notification should be, hey, I'm recording, so I'm walking into the courtroom, notified.
Right.
What can you do? But other judges have recognized specifically saying, I see we have an anonymous request for recording. You're approved. And so that's the thing is like we're using their other judges' word, specifically 6 other judges, at least 6. There's got to be more. And
well, you got to suspect what's lurking, what darkness is lurking in the brain and heart of a judge who wouldn't say, hey, I'm for full transparency. You don't have to ask my permission. We have a First Amendment right to freedom of press. All of you do. All of us do. So the more cameras, the merrier. That's the way they should do it. So you always got to question, where the heck is this guy coming from? And where does he get off on saying, well, you can have a recording device, but you can't?
Right. Yeah. Hillsborough, New Hampshire, they're pretty bad, actually. So when I went to court, when I got arrested, I was there for Press NH Now because he got bail violation, which was it's baloney. If you actually look at what the records were, so they said it was a bail violation because he was recording outside the police station, and that was a bail violation. And that's not true. It's just not true. So they had him. They don't like cameras. Let's put it that way. They don't like cameras in Hillsborough, and they're also denying me body cam footage of my arrest. Like, there's a lot of sketchy things going on in Hillsborough.
Did they
And
give
this-
you a reason for the denial?
No,
Were
No,
you
they-
recording when you got arrested? Were you
I
actually
was, but
recording?
they dropped my phone, which lost time before it dropped, and it started back up automatically. So it actually made two separate videos. No one pressed re-record. They dropped my phone, which caused this problem, and they recover my phone and bring it back to me. But it was recording, yeah. And Preston H now, like I was saying, he got charged after the fact, like a few days later, for simple assault on the bailiff. Because when I was getting arrested, Preston H now went over to his camera because he was recording his own trial, his own arraignment. And while he was heading toward his camera, the bailiff put hands on him, and Preston H now pulled away. And because he pulled away from an assault, you can't resist a rapist, right? So because he pulled away, he got charged with simple assault, and he was like arrested and arraigned and everything after the fact.
Give me the court location again. Hillsborough,
New Hampshire.
and what's the? Do you actually have the address for the courtroom?
34 Antrim.
Spell it.
Antrim, I believe.
Antrim.
Yep. Road, I guess. Hillsborough, New Hampshire.
And is it BORO or BOUR? What is it?
It goes both ways. I think the borough, when it's spelled out, OUGH, that's the county, and Hillsborough, BORO, is the town.
Okay. And the date is Tuesday. What time?
At 1 p.m.
Tuesday at 1 p.m.
What's crazy is Preston H now has trial as well. I don't know what time it's at. He didn't tell me yet, but it's the same day before mine. And I think that's bold, because if I'm found not guilty in my trial, he would have been at what Preston H now did would have been legal physical force in defense of someone innocent. If that's the angle he wants to play it at. But I don't think he even did anything wrong. He pulled away from someone touching him. You know what I mean?
Just out of curiosity, everybody who's in the room, there's 742. Don't forget to hit the like button. But who would be able to make that? What's the seating there in that courtroom? Are there a lot of people? Is it a 50 room, 100 room?
Yeah, I could probably max like 80.
Hillsborough, New Hampshire, 34 Antrim Road. This is going to be on Tuesday at 1 p.m. That's Breaking the Flaws trial. I've got it in the chat room right now. If you would be able to make that, which would be awesome if you could, just for support, put a 1 in the room. Hey, who do you know for a fact will anybody be live streaming that?
I'm not sure about live streaming, but Preston H now said he would be there. Footloose, also known as Absolute Defiance. He has a YouTube channel. He's challenging federal recording laws in court with State Representative Jason Gearhard. A bunch of my friends are going to be there. And yeah, it's not looking good for the Hillsborough court, I'll tell you that. I'm putting activists on the stand, like Preston H now and my friend Frank, Footloose, Absolute Defiance. I'm putting them on the stand because we've been dealing with this problem in New Hampshire. And my other friends are the ones that established this law for, being able to record in court. And Ian Freeman, he's currently sitting in federal prison for Bitcoin. That's a whole other story. But, these have been activists for a long time that have cured a lot of problems in New Hampshire. But it seems like New Hampshire, the government is pushing back. They don't want you to have this freedom. They don't want to, let you record their evil doings, Yep.
Yeah, exactly, man. I've got I take a look at your screen. Is that the map for Hillsborough right here, right in the center?
So just below your cursor and right below the word Hillsborough is where the court is going to be.
Okay. Courthouse.
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give a location right here. Oh, wait a second.
That's correct. That's correct.
Is it the 6th Circuit District Division?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
It's in the same building as Subway, which is really funny.
Oh, really?
It's like, what the heck? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, we got that up. And if you find out who absolutely will be able to live stream that, let me know, and I'll try to provide the link so that the maximum amount of people can tune in.
Okay, I will. I'll definitely, maybe I'll send it to you on Twitter or wherever else, or you have a better line for me to send it to. But
Okay, sounds good.
all right.
Thanks for letting us know, man.
Thank you, Brian. It's important that people follow this case because it's a big one. When it comes to recording in court in New Hampshire.
Do you know if there's any mainstream or local news that will be covering this?
No way.
Of course not.
Look, they have to lie to make it go on mainstream news, like they did with my other case. I would. If you didn't know this, Brian, I was slandered on Sean Hannity. I was slandered on Brett Bart. I was slandered all over the place. He's actually a off-duty cop, former Army General Don Bolduc. He threw an elbow into my chest and then proceeded to tell everyone he hit me, and that I was found guilty for criminal trespass and disorderly conduct for that whole incident, and that's the one I'm doing community service for because I don't feel like my appeal is going to go well. And there you go. There's the trial right there at the top.
Yeah, here's the just in case the people have not seen this. This is clear and convincing evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that Bolduc was the one who committed a crime against breaking the law.
Ahead of last night's debate between Senator Maggie Hassan and her challenger,
this may not show it.
General Don Bolduc. Take a look at this video right here. Bolduc is greeting the crowd outside the venue when a libertarian activist confronts Bolduc. Thanks so much for joining us here at noon. I'm Troy Lynch, and that man who rushed towards Bolduc is facing charges right now. WMUR's Ray Brewer is live with more.
General Don Bolduc is currently holding a town hall meeting here at the Loudon Country Club. But before that meeting, he did address what happened last night prior to the debate. Now, this is video of that incident. It shows General Bolduc greeting members of his crowd there with a man later identified as Joseph Hart, a libertarian activist. Now, Bolduc's supporters surround the man and Goffstown police rush in. Now, prior to the incident, according to police, Hart had been asked to leave the premises.
There you go.
As a result
There's the elbow.
Disturbance, Hart was charged with criminal trespass and disorderly conduct, but he has not been charged with assault. Were you assaulted last night?
I wouldn't call it an assault.
Well, no, I did some assaulting though.
If the police wasn't there, if the police didn't do their job, it probably would have been an assault, but you can't speculate. So I'm grateful that the police were there. I'm grateful they did their job. As you know, big supporter of law enforcement. I don't want that incident to eclipse the debate or the fact that we're going to beat Maggie Hassan on Tuesday. It's about the election. It's about Senator Hassan.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to the incident.
Preston H. Now actually ran into him recently. He just put the video out, which was really funny because he's a cop,
Bolduc is a cop?
He is a cop.
As Joseph Hart.
Let's look at this elbow real quick.
Activist.
His right elbow into your chest, right?
Yes. Now, Bolduc supporters
watch it real quick.
Around the man.
It happens. This guy gets in
and Goffstown police rush
Brian, in. If you go to freekeen.com and search Bolduc, you'll see a better footage of it because there's like multiple angles. You only see in this angle.
Is this the better angle?
Yeah, I think it probably is.
As a result,
here's Bolduc right there. There's Joseph.
Of the disturbance, Hart was charged with
happens real fast
trespass and disorderly conduct, but he has not been charged with assault.
They cut the clip on purpose right there.
Yeah, it looks like it. Because I remember covering that, and it was very clear in that footage. All right, hey Joe. Hey, we're gonna try to tune into that.
No
okay.
Problem. Thank you very much for covering this, and thank you guys that are watching. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Take care. Hey, Lenny, what's going on?
Not much. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't see you though. You got something in front of your camera.
Yes, I'm not able to get out on film. But I will tell you, this is all by design. You look at how many of our government officials nowadays, Brian, and you know what I mean by uphold their oath to the Constitution. 90% of what I see can't even quote the First Amendment. And it's very saddening to me. My grandfather was Ronald Reagan's personal bodyguard.
By the way,
his name was Charlie.
If you're trying to obscure your face, I can see you on the left-hand side. You might want to cover your camera just a little bit more.
All right.
There you go.
But I would really like you guys to know that each and every one of you are doing a wonderful job by what you are doing. Remember, by live streaming each and every moment, they cannot say that the film footage is edited. They want to make us constitutionalists look like nutcakes, fruitcakes, whatever they want to call us. It doesn't matter. I'm not for telling one man what to do or another what to do, Brian. Me and you kind of see eye to eye on a lot of things that you do, and I am humbled and honored to be on your channel here to be able to speak with you. I just know what's coming is not going to be good, because you look at these police stations and they have two sides to them. One's a United Nations uniform side, and the other one is the American police side. They are having Chinese police stations in New York, California, and with them doing this, they are harassing their own citizens that have tried to escape the communism. There are a lot of good people that are trying to legally come here, yes. This open border shit, it's all by design. They removed the Muslim Brotherhood and other terrorist organizations off of watch lists. And just recently, our Congress passed a law stating Christianity is illegal in the United States now.
Wait, what law is that?
It's going to Congress right now. It's an anti-Semite law. I'm a Christian Jew, and they don't like me telling the Jews, my own people, you murdered Christ. I'm considered an anti-Semite because I believe in what the Bible says. They are passing all kinds of laws now to go after people like us and put us on terrorist watch lists. That's what they're doing basically with the entire auditing community. Every one of you are watched. And I'm telling you this for a reason. They want to set us up and make us look like the nut jobs that are trying to destroy a government. That's why we have to be on our best behavior. They're making a lesson out of chili. And that's really all I can tell you about that and any of these other auditors. And I love all of you, because each and every one of you bring an aspect and a good look at the corruption by doing what you're doing. You guys are exposing them on the streets when there's not a news crew around, and you auditors see something going on like you do, and you're keeping your distance. And that's what I love about each and every one of you. You do keep your distance, but now they're wanting to push you back because you're getting them on recording. You're getting them on film. You're seeing the things that they're doing that are inhumane. Brian, I believe in doing unto others as I'd have them do unto me. I love each and every one of these people out here, including you and everyone else. I wouldn't treat my dog the way I see these people treating people, let alone my mother. I'm in Florida. We just had a man shot to death by officers out of uniform, no badges. He had called in his property being robbed, and the death squad showed up and eliminated him in front of his children right in his own driveway. So please film everything, people. Remember, the Supreme Court has ruled the government can lie to us. They've also ruled The government has no reason to protect us. These are Supreme Court rulings you can look up.
Yeah, you don't even
That's
have to look.
pretty
You don't.
cold.
You don't even have to look past like the Smith-Mundt Act, which gives the green light to government to propagandize even Americans. It used to be the Smith-Mundt Act before it was revised was for to okay and approve propaganda outside of the United States. Since they revised it, they've included Americans under that too. Not that mainstream media wasn't doing it already, and not that it's not governed media, because I always look at mainstream media as the propaganda arm for the military industrial complex and the Pentagon.
Amen.
But they always are creating laws like this. I'm looking at this anti-Semitism bill, and when you try to broaden a definition like that, basically what you're saying is it's an anti-American opinion bill. Now, if you even have an opinion, see, if you can't have an opinion about whether a certain event, which will remain nameless on this live stream, but when you can't even have an opinion to where you question a particular event of how it went down and how many people were involved, then you don't have freedom in America.
Amen.
And I noticed who this is spearheaded by, which is the International H-Cost Remembrance Alliance, which pretty much tells you everything you need to know about that bill.
Bingo. We need to start keeping an eye on all of them. They are forcing the New World Order agenda.
Yeah, it's pretty important to note that the proposal, which passed 320 to 91 with bipartisan support, would codify the International H-Cost Remembrance Alliance's definition of the anti-S word. In other words, if you thought American free speech was dead before, you ain't seen nothing yet. Hold my beer is what Congress is saying.
Amen. Hey, brother, look how many of them are on the paid list from there. They're all paid.
Yeah.
Every last one of them that signed that bill are getting kickbacks and donations.
Yeah, a lot of dual citizenship going on there. Hey, I got about 3 people in the backstage that need to be brought forward. I really appreciate your input, man. Thank you.
I'm hopping off. Love you, each and every one of you. God bless you all.
All right, man. Take care. Jackboot Thugs, I'm going to bring you and Freedom Inc. What's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you, Brian? Thanks for asking.
Good. What's going on?
Well, all of these things that we're talking about, these Supreme Court decisions, state statutes, ordinances, levies, policies, whatever, all of those are nullified by the Constitution unless they are in line with the Constitution, according to Article 6, which is commonly known as the Supremacy Clause. And the only people that are allowed to make laws is Congress, not the judicial, not the legislative, Congress. Now listen, if any of these laws that they're writing or they're trying to impose upon us are contrary to the Constitution, not only are they illegal, but they're null and void. And everybody who signed off on them is guilty of treason. That's the way the Constitution is written. And the Constitution does not serve the government. It serves the people. It is our toolbox to dismantle tyranny when it rears its ugly head like it is now. And the trick is... The trick is you got to use that Fourth Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment is about warrants, and it's about searches, and it's about seizures. Okay. Now, in a proceeding in court, there has to be somebody that's a complainant, and then there's somebody who's a defendant. Okay. The state, because they are not given constitutional rights, cannot, without a warrant and charges, sworn by a person, according to the Fourth Amendment, cannot be charged or even proceeded against in court, period. There has to be an accuser, according to Amendment 6, I believe. Yep, face your accuser. The Sixth Amendment, face your accuser. And I think we're fighting the wrong battles, man. We're swatting at flies. when we should be using a sledgehammer on this monolith that is falsely put in our way. Everything that we need is in the Constitution, and it's all protected by the Supremacy Clause, every bit of it. And it's not for the government; it's for us.
Isn't all that kind of wiped away with Marbury versus Madison, where they gave the Supreme Court the power of judicial review when they're saying basically, it's almost like the Roman papacy from back in the 300s when the Pope was like, all you peasants, yeah, you might have a copy of the Bible because of the Gutenberg press and all that kind of stuff, but only we, the mother church, can interpret it for you. Isn't that the same thing kind of what the Supreme Court is doing with the Constitution?
Yeah, and how do you think God feels about the papacy making decisions for the peasantry? The Constitution is given to us by God. Those are rights bestowed on not just Americans, but the entire human race by God. And they're indelible, and they're enumerated, okay? And there's also an amendment that covers anything that's not covered in the Constitution that we may raise as a tool against tyrannical government. Listen, Brian, the Supreme Court is shooting blanks. They cannot make law. All they do is make decisions. Decisions and case law do not determine judicial proceedings.
Well, I would agree with that, except a lot of the Fourth Amendment has been completely shredded by case law like Terry v. Ohio and Pennsylvania versus Mims. So when we live in a lawless society that accepts that as the supreme law of the land rather than the Constitution, where do you go from there?
You go to your rights in court, man. You have to stand on your constitutional rights. Where's my accuser? Produce the accuser. Who's the complainant? I'm the complainant, because that cop that's on the stand is a traitor because he took part in the drug war. He seized children on behest of CPS, and Your Honor is also guilty of treason.
Have you successfully done this in court?
I have not successfully done it in court, but I know a guy who has, Kennedy Walker, and I've been studying the amendments with his tutelage, and everything that we need to dismantle what's going on is right there. And those judges, when they're called out in that manner, you have to know what to say. You have to say it properly. You can't be yelling and screaming at them like, I'm passionate about this. So, because I've had it with this kangaroo court bullshit, because it's not how it's supposed to work. It's all laid out in the Constitution. And what they've done is they've converted it into this commercial enterprise and made us think that we have to bow down to their policies and procedures. That's all these court decisions. You see, how many times, Brian, in the court does the judge say, I don't care about that decision by the Supreme Court? How many times? My man that was just on, breaking the flaw, right?
Yeah, breaking the flaw.
Right. They threw out his objection on the grounds of this decision because it has no legal or lawful standing, period. If that judge doesn't have to bow to it, what good is it? Now, you go in and you say, Your Honor, where's the complainant? The state cannot be a complainant. In order to be even seized, what does seized mean, Brian? Let's look at what seized means. It means
how do you get the court to recognize that they can't be the complainant?
It's plainly in the Constitution. It's the Fourth Amendment, dude. They have to have a warrant sworn out in order to seize your person, in order to seize your effects, or search or seize your properties, period. All of this, everything, all of this stuff is null and void because it's unconstitutional. We just have to get our heads out of the bucket of sand that we've had them in for, almost 100 years, or at least 70 years anyway.
Hold on one second, Jack. But Freedom Inc., did you want to jump in on this?
Yeah. So, the terms we use matter. And as a society, even me or you have admitted this.
Your volume is super low, man. It's super low. Maybe if you can cup your hand for your microphone and catch your voice a little bit better.
1 second. I'm turning it up. Hear me now?
I don't know if turning your volume up will help. You got to kind of, like when I hold my phone, you got to kind of, like wherever the microphone is, if you can cup your hand to where it's going into the mic.
Is that better?
A little bit. Go ahead. What you got?
So the terms that we use matter. We can all agree with that, right? We hear people a lot say constitutional rights. Our Constitution does grant us rights. Does it give us rights? In fact, it's each individual's restriction on government and the collective document. The rights are only, even though those called the Bill of Rights, the rights are only mentioned as a byproduct restriction. If you think you're going to beat what's going on now in the courtroom, you're totally misinterpreting what's going on in the courtroom. I mean, we're in full blown 100-mile-an-hour toward communism, and the only thing that stops that is brute force. So if they had a law against us saying we can't rob banks, but they never enforced it, nobody was ever shot or taken to jail or whatever, you'd be robbing banks, not saying you would, somebody would be robbing banks all the time. And it's the same with the Constitution. There's only, you can vote your way into tyranny, and we see that now. Voting is never going to solve the problem. And the court system, the reason that it does what it does and doesn't care about what the Supreme Court does or what any other court does is because you can't do anything to these judges. Unfortunately, I've been in the cage a few times in my life. The last time in particular was over golf ball. Stupid as that sounds, I went to prison for 22 months. And the detective admitted that he lied in the initial search warrant. On the stand, he admitted he lied. Caught him in a lie. We had to admit that he lied. And in the motion to suppress all the evidence, the judge denied my motion to suppress. Why? Because you can literally do nothing to them. The only way you can do anything to them is to lose a trial. Then you're going to go sit in, prison or rot away for 2-3 years, hopefully before the state court sees it. But if they deny your motion, then you go to the Supreme Court. You're waiting 5, 8, 7, however many years just to get these appeals heard. You're not going to win. You're not going to win using their system. And I'll go a step further to challenge anybody, and I've had this challenge going on for years now. Show me anywhere in any of our founding documents where we gave government the authority to police society.
That's right. That's right.
So if we didn't give government that authority and they've taken that authority, there's only one way to stop that. It's the same way you would any other criminal. But nobody wants to do that. I'm not suggesting that anybody does that. I know that there's a time. I've accepted there's a time in my life for things I say. I'm pretty open about it. I'm a felon. The world knows it now. There's been videos made about how allegedly dirty I am, which I'm really not. I've never harmed anybody. But I've been in prison for 4 times. Never harmed anybody. I'm not saying I never did anything wrong, because I definitely have in my life. I'm still ahead in the game. Not that I'm in the game anymore. I've totally changed my life around. I help people. I get up and go to work every day. I run a business. I have a family. But I left Cincinnati. I moved to the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, because in my mind it was like, I'm in this place. I come back to this place. I continue to get in trouble. I went on for a couple of decades. Let's go to the middle of nowhere and get away from it. And I've tried this in a few places, and it's the same everywhere. I live in a county with probably 4,000 people, and the most corrupt stuff goes on here with the cops. Like, they don't even have body cams. They don't have dash cams here. And they do whatever they want to do, and you either sit back and take it. Or
What part of Tennessee? What part of Tennessee are you in?
Benton County, so it's
Okay.
about 90 minutes west of Nashville, about 2 hours east of Memphis.
I used to live in Robertson County, right? I think Nashville's in Robertson County.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just below it. So you're right at 90 minutes. I grew up in East Tennessee, in the hills. Was born in Ohio, but this is everywhere. It's not going to stop. I mean, at what point in your life, you get up, let's just say you work a 40-hour work. The Fraser Institute did a study in 2021. On average, the household income that went to some form of taxation across the nation was 60%. So let's just call it 50%. If 50% of your income goes to some form of taxation, income taxes, fuel taxes, state income tax, or food tax, whatever they do, however they do it. At what point are you a slave? And how long are you willing to accept it? Now, do you think if we go back to the 1830s and 1820s, and you went around to every plantation and you started handing slaves firearms, how long do you think they would stood on the plantation? Probably not very long. But we become accustomed to the plantation world. I've told people a lot of times, like I said, I've been in prison 4 times. I'm not happy about it. I'm not proud about it. But there's one thing that I see. There's a lot of times when I was in there and I would walk out like C2 at CRC in Ohio. I'd walk out of there, and for weeks I wouldn't see a fence. I knew the fence was there, but I would never see it. And when they let me out, they didn't let me out of prison. They just put me in a bigger cage. But it's allowed to happen because we let it happen. We let them do this stuff. Why? We do it through fear. We fear going to jail. We fear losing what we have. We fear dying. Until we lose that fear, or we give up that fear, or you care more about your neighbor than that fear, it leads to one place, that none of us want to lie. And in our lifetime, it's going to be that bad, probably. You know, you just heard Trump say that he's going to indemnify the police so they can fix these cities. You know what that means? They have qualified immunity now. That means that nothing's going to be able to happen. They're literally going to be able to get away with murder at that point. Now to go back to
next time, I feel like you have a lot of good things to say. Next time, I hope you have a better connection because you're super choppy and it's really difficult to hear what you have to say. Is there a way can you reconnect? Is there a way you can reconnect?
It might just be where I'm at. Can you hear me better now?
Oh, that's way better.
Like I live in the middle of nowhere.
Oh man, the volume is way better now.
All right, my bad. I'm sorry. I was sitting in my truck because it was raining. If you see, I live in the woods. Like I literally moved to the middle of nowhere to get away from the police. Now your volumes, I can't hardly hear you, but it's okay. But like if you look at Congress today, we all are bitch about what Congress does. If you read Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of our Constitution, Congress has no authority in the state of Tennessee to create a law that can be enforced in the state of Tennessee or in Ohio or in any other state. They can only do it on legally purchased federal lands. It's really only supposed to be Washington, D.C. But we've become accustomed to them doing this incrementally over time. And now that's all you hear people bitch about, and they do it and they get it off. The feds come in and kick people's doors in every day. ATF, FBI, whoever it is. And they get away with it because nobody enforces anything on them. How's government going to fear the people when the people constantly fear government because they have thugs, that rule us in the streets?
Well, yeah, I mean, like the tenor of what you're saying, what you first started out saying, the springboard of what you're saying now is kind of echoing what Patrick Henry said. Guard with jealous attention the public liberty. Suspect anybody who comes near that precious jewel. Nothing will preserve it but downright force. And when we give up that force, we are ruined. It's like people have given up that force, but we are so disjointed and divided and so thoroughly conquered that the Stanley Milgram experiment reveals that over 65% of us would deliver a fatal shock to somebody else because they were just obeying the authorities. It's almost like we're in an untenable, unwinnable situation. So from your perspective, in about 60 seconds, what is the answer? Because all I know is I'm trying to educate people, but you can only do so much because there's so many voices in the wind. So what do you think? What's the remedy here?
I want to tell you my position.
Okay.
And I've said this for years now. You go back on my channel and see it. I've drawn a line, and I'll play the game to a certain degree. I have a driver's license. My cars are tagged, none of them my name, but they're tagged, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll play the game to a certain degree, but I know once I'm told to driving down the road, I'm told to do a certain thing, I can no longer win at that point. So at that point, there's no sense in me obeying. At that point, the fight's on. I don't care, if you want to pull me over for give me a speeding ticket, give me my speeding ticket, let me go on. And like I've said this to the sheriff in this county, sitting in his house. When it comes to my home, if you want to come invade my home, you can, but I would hug your kids and draw straws. And your chance on whether or not I obey the law, which, the laws, there's this belief that all felons can own firearms, and it's a myth. It's another thing that we've just jerked onto because it's not true at all. I'm not talking about black powder either. A lot of felons in this country can own firearms and just believe they can't because of what they've been told. But, I'm not going to let somebody kidnap me no more than I'm going to let you kidnap me. I'm not going to let somebody harm my family any more than I'm going to let you harm my family. And if I have to die for that, I'm willing to do that. And maybe it's just because of the things I've been through in life, and I'm fed up with it. I'm done of, I've given years of my life away for total bullshit.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I am the way I am. It could be, or maybe it's that I have a boot on my neck and I want the boot off.
Right.
And I'm not asking, I'm demanding. So I'm demanding to be left alone, to live my life. I want to keep what I earn, and I do. And if anybody has anything to say about it, you're free to leave me alone, or you're free to cause a problem and come see me. I don't want to be a problem, which you don't become much of a problem, because what they do is they come in and they kill you, and then everybody forgets it happens and they go on their merry way. But they're not going to do that to my neighbor, not with my knowledge. I have neighbors that live half a half mile on each side of me. If I was ever up at 5 in the morning and I seen, 10 cars rolling by at the same time, killing their lights, I already know what's happening. The first thing I'm doing is jumping in my truck and heading to my neighbor's house. Until we start standing up for each other like that, it's game over. Dying is not going to do anything but prove my point. All through COVID, I fought COVID through a mess of crap. And I know I'm going on longer than 60 seconds. I had to have surgeries. And they wanted me to do all these tests, to wear masks, and do all this nonsense. And I just absolutely refused to do it. And it was through workman's comp, so it caused a big mess. But even my son was murdered in 2019. So the only time I wore a mask all through COVID was during the sentencing of the guy that killed him. And when I went in for my victim impact statement, I didn't go in to try to get him put in jail for life. I went in because the court was screwing him, and I had a real issue with it. And of course, the court didn't want to hear what I had to say. And they made, they shut him up. Well, I just asked a simple question. I just want to know if he understood the difference between murder and killing. Court wouldn't let him answer, because if he would have answered no, they would have had to throw out the plea agreement, and then they would have to spend a bunch of money on a trial, at which point I get to know what happened to my son. It's just, I could spend hours talking about these things that we've just, just like the right to keep and bear arms. You never lose a right. Even when you're imprisoned, you don't lose the right to keep and bear arms. You personally, through the Fifth Amendment, have allowed what's supposed to be your community prosecute you, and you may lose your. It says no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So even like the man on death row still has the right to keep and bear arms. What he doesn't have is the liberty to utilize his property because it's been restricted. But once he's released, he still has that right. Government can't take that right.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear about your son, man. There's people in the room saying my condolences. Bub's Cat says this is what a real man looks like. Let me see if this is what you're talking about, man. I'm going to put up on the screen. I don't know if you can see your screen right now, but I can't
hardly see it outside. But go ahead.
All right, I'm just going to put up on the screen something that resonates with me and what I think you're actually saying here. It's a poem that somebody wrote. It's author unknown, but it says the most terrifying force of death comes from the hands of men who wanted to be left alone. They try so very hard to mind their own business and provide for themselves and those they love. They resist every impulse to fight back, knowing the forced and permanent change of life that will come from it. They know that the moment they fight back, their lives as they have lived them are over. The moment the men who wanted to be left alone are forced to fight back, it is a form of suicide. They're literally killing off who they used to be, which is why when forced to take up violence, these men who wanted to be left alone fight with unholy vengeance against those who murdered their former lives. They fight with raw hate and a drive that cannot be fathomed by those who are merely play acting at politics and terror. True terror will arrive at these people's door, and they will cry, scream, and beg for mercy, but it will fall upon the deaf ears of the men who just wanted to be left alone. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm kind of hearing that that's what you're saying. And
yeah, I agree with that. But that's a collective. I think that poem is more as a collective statement. That individually, all you're doing, you're just committing suicide. And I'm aware of that.
That's why it says it's a form of suicide. I think collectively and individually, individually, you're dead because the government can easily gang up on you. But if we can have a mass awakening, which is what I'm hoping for, and I feel like my hope is a hope against hope because I see a lot of people who are so brain dead. I'm telling you, what's your name, man? What's your name?
Well, my channel name is free to make. My name's Nick Bolton.
Nick. I live in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, okay? And I never thought in a million years when this COVID-19 nonsense happened, I didn't think even 10% of the rugged farmers around this area who I see at the grocery store and in the farmer's market would submit for a second to ritualistic shame muzzle. And just a couple weeks of 24/7 propaganda, you've got rugged farmers wearing a stupid mask with a thing on their arm that says, I just got VAXX, did you? So at that point, I was thinking, and we're talking to 95 to 98% of everybody. It's like me and my girlfriend and just a handful of other people in our small town of 16,000 did not submit to any of that nonsense for a second, but it seemed like everybody else did. And it's at that point, it kind of dawned on me, Wow, I knew we were propagandized. I knew we were mentally neutered, but I did not think it was to this level where, and I can understand this happening in California or New York, but not in Oklahoma. At that point, I was going, we are so disjointed and divided. They have so successfully propagandized us that even the people that you thought would take up arms and have your six ain't going to happen.
Well, a big part of it too is like a good example is this guy in North Carolina last week that shot and killed these 4 cops. He shot 8, 4 of them died.
Yeah.
Look at his crime. What was he wanted for? A probation violation for having a firearm and running from the cops. So he probably ran from the cops because I don't know this. I'm just guessing.
He probably ran from the cops because that's a reasonable thing to do if you don't want to get killed.
Right. But he had a gun on him too. And there's these stupid laws that say certain people can't have guns or you can't carry a gun. Like, look at my son. My son carried a gun from the time he was 16 until 12 days before his 21st birthday. He, for some reason, didn't have a gun on him. Now, my mind, knowing my son, says he didn't have a gun on him that day because he was afraid he'd get caught. And he's so close to his 21st birthday when he can, quote unquote, legally carry. You know what I mean? I told him 100 times, like, dude, I can get you out of jail. I can't get you out of a casket.
Right.
Like I literally told him that 100 times. Carry a gun, carry a gun, carry a gun, carry a gun. And he wasn't, he started out stupid, but he got better. But I mean, there's still videos to this day when he was a dumbass driving around, showing his gun on Facebook and shit while he's driving around. Like, don't be an idiot. You know what I mean? But anyway,
yeah.
But for some reason, 12 days before his 21st birthday, he doesn't have a gun. His car breaks down by chance. By chance, he calls somebody else. I'm sorry about that. By chance, they're going to the place where they both get murdered. And my son, if he'd been armed, he definitely could have saved his own life just by what, the guy that killed them said happened. I got to read what he said happened. Doesn't mean that is what happened. But you can only shoot one person at a time or fight one person at a time. You can't shoot a person and fight. I guess you could, but it's unrealistic. But my son definitely could have saved his own life. So when you ask people, who's responsible for that? They want to point the finger at the shooter, and I don't disagree with that. The shooter was responsible for what had happened, but government's just as responsible. And to take it a step further, the police are just even more responsible because they would have arrested my son that same night if he'd got pulled over with a gun on him in the state of Ohio, not being 21 years old.
Yep.
Not having a CCW. So it's just, it's propaganda, manipulation, and it's, I could talk about this stuff for hours, this stuff that I've, learned over the past year. And it's, it's not even so much learning, it's just thinking about it. What would I let somebody do to me that, like I said, I play the game. I'm not the guy that says, I don't play the game at all, because I do. I have a driver's license. Why do I have a driver's license? Because I can't afford to keep getting my cars out of impound. That's why.
Right. Yeah.
I can't afford to keep buying new cars either. I've played that game. It doesn't end up well. You're going to lose. And that's what they do. They keep pressuring you and pressuring you and pressuring you till like you fear going to jail, or you fear death, or you fear losing everything you own. I've given up all those fears to a certain degree. Like I said, I've drawn a clear line in the sand, and has it been passed with COVID? I would argue like we technically moved to Tennessee because of things that were happening in COVID. We were going to Walmarts and getting kicked out, which whatever, kick me out, I don't care. But once you get the police involved and they want to start bucking up like there's somebody, because that's what they do. They want to use, exert their authority. And I'm pretty vocal. I'm pretty clear, like we can make this a bad day for everybody. Don't want that. I just want to be left alone. For the last time it happened not because we didn't have masks on, because we didn't have masks on, and my wife wanted the ammo cabinet opened. They refused to open the ammo cabinet without us having the masks on. We could continue shopping. This wouldn't have going to open the ammo cabinet. And so they called the police, and it turned into a 2-hour ordeal. I'm like, dude, we'd have been out of here an hour and 55 minutes ago. Look at all the breathing I've been doing in all this time. So if I did have COVID, now you have it. And you have it, and you have it.
Not only that, you're breathing harder because now your adrenaline is pumping and now your pulse rate has gone up. It's ridiculous. Hey, people are asking in the chat.
And I'm a bigger guy. I mean, I'm not huge. I'm not no 6'6", 300-pound guy, but I'm 6 foot tall. I'm 220 pounds, 240 pounds, depending on how much ice cream I eat. And I'm not all fat.
I need to give some more people a chance to talk, but people are asking.
Yeah, my bad, man. I'm sorry.
No, do you have a channel?
Yeah, my channel name is Free to Make. It's totally blackballed and shadow banned, but you're free to come and I do live streams every now and then. I don't do videos so much anymore, just because of, I'm shadow banned to the point where if I leave a comment other than a live stream, if I left 100 comments, one of those might be seen.
You got an
I leave
American
comments on
flag
your channel all the time.
You got an American flag for your icon, right?
Excuse me?
I put it up on the screen. Yeah, that's yours. This is you. Okay, cool. I'm gonna drop that link in the chat room. Everybody visit Freedom Inc. And if you want, hey, feel free to stay on, Nick. But I want to toss it over to the Millers. What's up, man? How you doing? I like that shirt.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Man, that's a styling shirt, man. Where'd you get that?
I got that from your shop.
I appreciate it, man. What's on your mind?
Well, me and my wife, we were in the Breathitt County Courthouse one day. She was doing probate, and there was a state trooper sitting there. And we walked out of the courthouse, and she needed to go next door so she could file the paperwork. So I went to my car, and I got my 9mm, and we went back in. And the same state trooper come in here and took my pistol right off my holster. I mean, right out of my holster.
What state is this again?
Kentucky.
Okay, so take us through this. What was his reason for doing that?
He said I wasn't allowed to have it in there.
And what store were you in?
I wasn't in the store. I was in it was the county building. It used to be the old courthouse, but it's next door.
Was there a no firearms sign on the door or something?
Nowhere.
Are there any restrictions? I'm not familiar with Kentucky gun laws, but what are there? Is it a constitutional carry state or what is it?
Yes, sir, it is.
Really?
Yes, sir.
And so the trooper walked up to you and grabbed your firearm out of your holster?
My wife's got it on video on our channel.
Okay, what's your channel? I'm going to pull it up.
The Millers.
What are you
Let's see if I can find it. Let's see.
And then he got with his state trooper buddies, and then they arrested me about a month later for nothing. Literally nothing.
Did they have a warrant?
Excuse me?
Jack Blue Thug Pigs was asking, do they have a warrant?
He said he had a legal warrant, but they had to release me because I didn't have nothing against me.
Did he produce a warrant? Did they came to your house and to your door?
No, they actually pulled me over.
Oh, they pulled you over. I can't. Sorry, my interests are divided here because I'm trying to pull up your channel. I've got the Miller's channel, and it's not giving me your channel. Is there a way? Can you drop a link?
I'm computer illiterate, Brian. I don't know how to do nothing like that.
On the sidebar, it says comments, and you can leave or a private chat. You can leave me a private chat, and you can drop me a link if you want, if you know how to do that.
I really don't. My wife knows how to do all that stuff. I really, truly don't. I try to get my video out. It's on our Facebook, too.
The Miller, it's just called the Miller's channel. The Millers.
Yeah, on YouTube it is.
Yeah, it's not like I guess there's a movie called The Millers. It's
yeah, there is.
I really want to see that. I really want to see your channel, and I want to see that.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah, if you can get your wife to drop that link. Jack Boot Thug Pigs, did you want to say something while they're working on that?
Well, I want to reiterate, Brian, that when we're arguing decisions and ordinances and statutes that are illegal and unconstitutional, you're basically marching off on a condemned and doomed to failure crusade because you have no ammunition. The ammunition is in the Constitution. That is our remedy. And that is our nonviolent alternative. We just have to do the paperwork. You have to read the laws on citizens arrest in your state. That does matter. They cannot write. They can't write a law prohibiting citizens arrest because it's guaranteed by the Fourth Amendment. It doesn't read that way, but if you know what the words mean, somebody else said in the chat that words have meaning. And the Constitution is that way. If you don't understand sentence structure and you don't have the vernacular knowledge, then you're not going to be able to use it to effect. We have to become complainants, and that requires a citizen's arrest. That doesn't mean you have to put hands on somebody, but you issue it verbally. You're under citizen's arrest, and now I'm going to go find a magistrate, and I'm going to swear out a criminal complaint. not with the police, but with a magistrate. And then the magistrate will look at probable cause. He's the only one that can look at probable cause. The police do not have that right. And he's going to write a warrant. He's going to attest to that. And then you've signed the criminal complaint, which makes you the complainant. And when you're the complainant, you basically reserve all of your constitutional rights when you go to court, if you know how to argue them in court. This is the thing. But it's the supremacy clause is not 75% of the time applicable. It's 100% plus applicable. It is the highest law in the land. Everything else that man is going to put on paper has to bow to that Constitution, or it's illegal, period. And the people who write it and the people that swear it into law are traitors for violating the Constitution. It's conspiracy and it's treason, period.
What arguments from the Supreme Court or the lower courts have you heard against the supremacy clause, just to play the devil's advocate position?
I've heard none, because the Supreme Court does not have power to write laws. They hand down what they call decisions. They're decisions. And then these scumbag politicians pick them up and they go, oh, we can write a law based on that, but they can't. They can, but it's not legitimate. If it's unconstitutional, it's unconstitutional, Brian. The Constitution, because of the supremacy clause, is the law of the land 100% plus of the time. Never does it bow to state, federal, local, jurisdictional, whatever. If it's
let me boil this down. The springboard and foundation from which you operate on any court case for any non-criminal charge is you start with the supremacy clause.
Even with criminal charges, you start with the supremacy clause, because what if, let's say that the cop said he saw you doing something. Brian, can the cop be a complainant? Does he have that right? Does he have any rights when he's in uniform? No. The Constitution is not for anybody who's operating as a government employee. When they're off duty, then they have rights. When they're on duty, they have an obligation to uphold the Constitution to protect us from tyrannical assholes trying to take over our country. And because they haven't done that, every single one of them is guilty of conspiracy and treason.
So for instructional purposes, how would you have instructed Chili to operate when they charged him with what they did?
Well, I would have, if it was me in Chili's place, I would have said, produce an injured party, produce a complainant. Who's the complainant? And they're gonna point at the cop and they're gonna go, well, then let's have him swear a complaint against me. Produce a complaint, or have him swear one right in front of the judge, and the judge then can issue a warrant for my arrest right then and there. Because outside of that framework, the police can't arrest you unless they witness you committing a felony. Felony. They have to have a warrant unless they witness a crime against a person's person, a person's property, or a person's rights. They cannot arrest you unless they witness one of those three things, okay, without a warrant. And the second that he went into court, he should have said, or when the cop took the stand, he should have said, sir, did you ever take part in the drug war? Well, what do you mean? Have you ever arrested anybody for marijuana or any other chemical? Yes, I have. Well, then you're guilty of treason. You're guilty of conducting a war against the citizens of the United States of America, which is defined in the Constitution as treason. Treason. Nothing else that you say on that stand can be taken into evidence, because you're a traitor. You're a traitor. And it could be applied to every single judge that sits the bench, because they've sent people to prison for chemical crimes that didn't include violence. We all know that. That makes them guilty of treason. Treason.
And who's the name of the guy that you said has successfully operated on this plane in court? What's his name?
Kennedy Walker. That's the name of his. That's the name of his YouTube channel. And if you guys want to check out my channel, there's a link right on my homepage to him, to you, to Chili, to Direct D, and I think Harvey Freebird, and then the black guy from the East Coast who is ACAB Devils. I love him. He's kind of racist, but I still love him anyway, because he's preaching truth to power, and that's all that really matters.
All right, I'm on your channel right now. Where is this?
Scroll down. Scroll down.
Okay.
Right there. Everybody right there at the bottom. Everybody should be subscribed to all these guys and more. I mean, those are just the ones I put up there. I tried to keep it a little bit smaller. Now he doesn't. I think he's got one of his proceedings.
The most important thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he has one of his proceedings video recorded and on there somewhere. I'll see if I can get him to move it up to the top.
And maybe we can do a live stream one day with him too. I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow with Paul Unslaved, and that's going to be around 1 p.m. I need to actually put something like that out. So
I think that Paul is pretty much on the same page as me and Kennedy are, and that man, we all have got to get back. We live in a constitutional republic, okay? The Constitution is the only thing that matters, man. It is the word of God. It's not only for us, it's for the entire planet. Imagine this, Brian. We free ourselves, and then we free all of our cousins around the world using the Constitution. Imagine that. Just imagine it. And all we have to do is not be afraid to stand up and insist on having our rights. Insist. And if the judge says, well, if you continue this line of comment, you're going to be in contempt of court, that's when you charge the judge with contempt of court, because he or she is trying to stifle your First Amendment rights. You're guilty of deprivation of rights under color of law. That's and I want to swear out a complaint right now against you, Your Honor. That's another thing that I would have done if I was Chili. But I think that I love Chili, man. He is the best. I love all you guys, like my man who was on here before. I love this community so much, and it breaks my heart to see everybody struggling with these pointless battles against court decisions that are not the law of the land. The law of the land is the Constitution, my brothers and sisters, period. And it was given to us by God, and it was written by men, inspired by God, intelligent, self-taught.
Now I hear people saying that Chili made his first grave error by getting a bar attorney, which made Chili a ward of the court. Are you on that same train with that?
It doesn't really matter, because once you go in and you start standing up for your rights, you just tell your lawyer to shut up. He is your employee. You can tell him to shut up and take over for yourself. That's why you have to stand on your rights in court, man.
Okay, well, wait. There's another thing too. I'm sure you're familiar with the court proceeding, but the judge said that Chili she wouldn't allow him to speak on his behalf, that he had to use a lawyer.
Well, that is incorrect. That's illegal. According to the Constitution, you don't have to have a lawyer. You have to have a complainant, and the complainant is you. The complainant is Chili. The state cannot be the complainant. The cop can't say, well, Chili scared me, so I'm going to write some charges against him or whatever, unless he wants to do it when he gets off work. But still, he cannot press charges against somebody who hasn't harmed him or actually obstructed physically. That's also under the physical bar that we have. Rights, physical property, or person. Right? Okay. He didn't do any of those things, so he's not legally charged. The charges that the pigs brought against him were illegal because they A, didn't have a warrant, B, didn't have a sworn complaint. There has to be a complainant, dude. There has to be a complainant, and when you insist on that, the judge has to convert her thinking back to the Constitution that she knows damn good and well, but chooses not to follow because there ain't no money in it.
Okay, so then you answered my next question. My next question is, why don't these high-powered, high-priced attorneys go at it from that angle? Because they wouldn't make any money?
Well, because they wouldn't. We've talked about this before, Brian, months ago, or a couple months ago when this first happened, when Chili was only in for like 2 or 3 weeks, remember? If you don't have money for a high-powered lawyer who knows the prosecutor, who knows the judge, who knows the clerk, anybody that might be involved in the case, you're not going to get a fair shake no matter what, because whatever lawyer you bring in and they don't know him, he's not part of the just us system. Okay? He's an outside lawyer. You feel me? That's when, as soon as you realize that your lawyer is in the company of people that he's not equal with, then you you tell him to shut his mouth and you take over on a constitutional basis. Convert yourself to the complainant immediately.
Jim in the room says, so Zimmerman would have illegally arrested Chili for contempt if he took this route of the supremacy clause.
Absolutely, because she would have had to recuse herself and come down off the bench and leave the courtroom and sign out, physically sign out, and then write a personal complaint where she's the complainant against Chili. And guess what? That doesn't hold up in a court of law.
Right, but she wouldn't do that. She would just stay there on the bench and she would go, well, go ahead, bailiffs, arrest him, and there's nothing you could do about it.
You got to go back on appeal. If they arrest you, then you go on appeal. The next court up, here's your argument, and they go, yeah, the case is dismissed with prejudice. That's all they can do. Or if we want to arrest them and write up charges of them depriving us of rights, that's what the Fourth Amendment is about, dude. It's about protecting us from the government, but it's also giving us an instrument to use against bad actors, be they private citizens or elected officials or contracted mercenaries like the police. The police are nothing but contracted mercenaries. That's all they are. That's all they are. But because they're working in a governmental capacity, they don't have rights. They don't have the right to arrest you without a warrant, no matter what. They don't even have a right to pull you over on the side of the road unless they see you shoot out the window and kill somebody on the side of the road, or they see you, run somebody over on the side of the road. They have to have a warrant, period. And I've gotten out of a couple of stops saying that to the cops. Look, man, like, you're violating my Fourth Amendment rights, and furthermore, you're under arrest. Go ahead and remand yourself back to your commanding officer for disciplinary charges, and then find a magistrate or a clerk that will sign the criminal complaint that you put against the cops. Don't ever do it at the police station, because you know what's going to happen. Every time you complain at the police station, they're going to throw it in the trash. They're going to throw it in the trash. Unless it's something really serious and they're caught and they can't get away with it, like this airman in Florida, or Chase Allen, or Anthony is, what was his name? Oh, my God, Anthony, the kid from Pennsylvania that got smoked by the cops, an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, Johnny Hurley really stands out to me, too.
Yeah, Hurley is another one. I mean, we could list them off all day long, man, but, basically – all we need is the supremacy clause. We got to get away from this notion of statutes and ordinances and policies and all that crap. Those are dead ends for us, Brian. They're dead ends.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I also see what Mark Bear is saying. Mark Bear says they don't want, they do what they want when they want. That's the truth, and there's nothing we can do about it. But you're saying
we can do plenty about it. We make ourselves the complainant. Even after we're in court, you can still convert yourself from the defendant to complainant. Okay, that's what people don't understand. You can convert yourself instantly in court by making a complaint against the cop, against the bailiff, against any of them, because they're all guilty of some kind of a crime, because they're criminals, man, all of them. They're criminals against the Constitution because of what they've done. They're technically traitors. We won't push that because it's never going to go anywhere, but we convert them into the injuring party. And we are the injured parties, just like my man here, Mr. Miller. That pig had no right to disarm him. That's a violation of the Second Amendment.
Yep.
And it's conspiracy against rights when he goes over and talks to all those other pigs and they try to trump it up. And then they violate his civil rights again when they pulled him over to arrest him. He said they didn't produce a warrant. Is that correct, Mr. Miller?
Yeah, they didn't produce it. They took me to jail. They even said my license was suspended, but they weren't.
Right. Well,
did you find that link, Mr. Miller?
My wife said she put in the YouTube one and the Facebook one.
On the private chat?
Oh, I guess the regular chat. I don't know. Hey, babe.
No, they're not on the private chat. She must have done it in the comments section.
Yeah, I missed
the regular chat.
Oh, I missed it. Shoot, it's gonna be way up there.
Yeah, see, this is where you've got to, like Mr. Miller, he's got a perfect, how long ago was this, Mr. Miller?
About 8 months ago.
8 months. If I were you, anybody who's curious about this, I'm going to be on again next Thursday with Kennedy. Brian, I would encourage you to have him on. He's very knowledgeable. He knows how to use these things in the proper manner they're supposed to be used. Okay, he's done it himself. Mr. Miller, you still have a constitutional remedy against all of those pigs involved and anybody else who made a signature on any of that paperwork. They're all guilty of depriving you of your rights. And that's a 240 to 242. That's deprivation of rights under color of law. But most importantly, you want to swear out a criminal complaint.
How do I do that?
You do that with a magistrate or a judge, or maybe the mayor can do it. Has to be an elected official. You could probably do it with the sheriff's department if they're willing. But, I wouldn't.
No, he was against me. He was the one that actually took my ID.
Of course he is, because they're all thick as thieves. But, I would encourage everybody to listen in on Thursday. We usually go about 10 o'clock Mountain Time. From there, you guys can convert it on your own. I know what time I'm supposed to be there. It is going to be 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Okay, so
Jackboot, Freedom Inc. is asking, well, if they're all guilty, who then endorses it?
Who endorses what? You just got to find somebody that's an elected official, a judge or a magistrate. A mayor can do it because he has judicial powers as well. Every mayor has judicial powers. He can take over any court that he wants. If he wants to be the judge, he can do it. He can do it. He doesn't even have to be a lawyer, right? Okay, so.
What about a county?
What's that?
What about a county judge?
Yeah, absolutely. Any kind of judge that will take it. And if you have to take it to a circuit court judge, do that, because they're more likely to do it than anyone else, because they travel. They still travel like they used to back in. I mean, they always have. Circuit judges used to be the only way that we had judges. There weren't sitting judges. You had to, if you were going to go on trial, you had to wait until the circuit judge came around back in the 1800s. Not every town and every village had a judge.
Hey, Mr. Miller, can you
take my case?
Mr. Miller, can you have your wife drop that link again? I'll be looking for it this time, and I'm going to try to bring it up while we're talking. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, man. This is a horse that I'm going to continue to beat, because it's the only thing that's going to get us where we need to be without using violence. And we know that violence is only going to, first of all, if it starts on the West Coast, how are we ever going to know, other than here on YouTube? And how many of us are going to be alerted to it in time to mobilize? It's just not possible, because if it really goes, do you think they're going to let YouTube keep running?
Right. Mr. Miller, have her drop it in the private chat, because you won't be able to give a link on the actual chat. Once I get it, I'll pull it up. Go ahead, Jackboot. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine, man. It's in here, Mr. Miller. It's on the StreamYard link. It's over to the right. You may have to. It should default to private chat. I'm not very good with using it yet, but I can at least make that happen. And I know how to share a screen on here too with StreamYard, but
I can't do nothing like that. I don't know. I can barely use the phone.
Jackboot, I appreciate your input on this live stream. I really wasn't expecting that, but that was a pleasant surprise.
Well, like I'm going to keep on harping on this, Brian. Like Chili. He is the man. I love him so much, and he's so close to having it right, but he got sidetracked on policies. You know what I mean? The Constitution is where it's at. And when the day that he said, right now our most important right is the Fifth Amendment, it broke my heart, because the most important right that we have is the Supremacy Clause. Okay? And that gives us everything else. And no one can take that away from us. The only thing that can take those God-given rights away from us is the cold hand of death. That's all. That's the only thing that can take it away. And I'll let these other guys somehow. Yeah, I'll let these other guys have their say. Get with Kennedy for sure, Brian, and have him on.
I don't have the link copied in that browser though.
Be prepared. He is. If you think Chili can sometimes be abrasive, Kennedy is also abrasive. But he is a good dude, and he's a patriot, and he's a real American. He's not good. He does not know anything about kid gloves. He's wearing sapper gloves all the time. Brick Jonesy can testify to this, because he's been in the room and watched us on live before. And Kennedy's a good dude, and he's very knowledgeable. Everybody can learn a lot of stuff from him, but he uses tough love.
All right, man. Jack Boot, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Brian. Thanks everybody for listening. And yeah, Jack Boot, you'd like to see me do it in court. Well, you know what? Next time I get in trouble, I will, and I'll make sure that it's on video. All right, thanks, y'all. Thanks, Brian. I love you guys.
Hey, love you back, man. Take care.
Later.
Andrew, you're up. Go for it.
Oh yeah, I was watching a lot about different things over the years. Some things I'm subscribed with channels like the Civil Rights Boy, Your Corrupted Water Watch.
Can you got to like speak closer to the mic or speak up a little bit? It's really hard to hear you.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sometimes I have to speak up. And Disney, I have autism. I like to watch these channels to keep well and informed. Is something that do kind of nerve me are like, okay, so I watched the Civil Rights Lawyers channel, and just recently I found out elderly woman in Florida was odd by cops because she had a knife. She was in the curvature of her house. Okay. I understand that is a Fourth Amendment violation and stuff. Sorry, I tend to ramble when I'm talking online.
Go ahead. You got it. Are you there?
Yes, I sometimes will try and post links onto private chat whenever I do. I'm not on the YouTube right now, but I can copy and paste things on about different stuff like that. I also watch Lackluster and Long Island Audits. They have some good insights on different things that are happening and the violations by the government. I think that, I mean, considering certain judges when they violate, what was that called under color of law again?
18 USC 242, deprivation of rights under color of law.
Deprivation of rights. I also subscribed to a man whose channel gone by Let's Exchange IDs. His name is Travis Hines. He got charged with videotaping in a library while he was in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Case is still ongoing, and it doesn't make any sense. The judge, his name is Robert Owsley. Before he was out in Natchitoches, Louisiana, I think I kind of recognize him as a judge that tried to convict me of a crime without any hearings whatsoever. He violated the Fourth Amendment of Travis Hines because he said he wasn't going to be presented an attorney under, I don't know if it's a stop and ID state in Louisiana, but there was no reasonable suspicion or probable cause of a crime. He was only videotaping while going to the library. He sets up his effects whenever he goes out in public, and he's well and informed on his constitutional rights.
Hey, let me ask you this, Andrew. What state are you in?
California.
And do you do any auditing yourself?
No, not like the rest of anybody, I'm sort of a little less uninformed, a little more uninformed on the intricacies of going out in public and recording. I only kind of do it when I don't know, if I see something that's happened, and I'm in the vicinity of something like an accident, then I'll record in public.
Hey, I'm gonna move over to Back Schmill. What's up, Back Schmill? How you doing? Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate your input, man.
What's up, Brian? Can you hear me? Well,
Yeah, go for it, Back Schmill. You're on.
nothing much, man. What's happening with you guys?
Well, I saw you. Oh, there you are. What's up, man? What are we drinking tonight?
We're drinking tea.
Oh, man. I thought it was whiskey. I didn't know.
Man, I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
That's good, man. It's a toxin. It's a toxin.
So what's happening? What's happening in Oklahoma? I guess.
You know what? Pretty much the same tyranny, but probably not to the extent of you New Yorkers up there.
Yeah, man. We have a portal. I don't know. Have you heard? We have a portal that connects two cities, New York City to Dublin. Have you heard about that?
Are you talking about like a CERN time warp portal?
Almost like that. Yeah, something similar.
No. I mean, what are you talking about? Seriously.
So they installed a portal, it's basically a Zoom video conferencing, but it's on a larger scale. You can go on YouTube, you can watch it for yourself. So basically people have live feed coming from Dublin to New York City and vice versa. And, you can watch someone on a big screen on the other side of the planet, I guess.
Hey, let me ask you a question real quick, because I really wanted to pull up this Miller's video. Can you find the Miller's website? Because I wanted to pull up that video where the Kentucky cop grabbed this guy's gun out of his holster.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
And if you can you drop it in the private chat?
Oh, you're talking to somebody else?
No, you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know.
It's called the Millers. And I don't have anybody modded. Nobody can drop a link, and I don't know how to mod anybody in StreamYard here.
Hold on a second. Let me see. I think he flashed his username, I believe.
What's up, Arm Fisherman? Would love to give you the final update. Hey, come on in, Arm Fisherman. Here's the link. Here's the StreamYard link. Oop, where is the StreamYard link? Here's the StreamYard link, Arm Fisherman. There it is right there in the room. So continue with this portal. So it's just like a video conference call portal, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Just on a large screen, and people get to see. So two cities are connected, Dublin and New York City. And
Yeah.
they're doing this not only for these two cities, they're doing that everywhere now. They want to connect different cities using a big screen, live streaming the crowd from. And you can go on YouTube, you can watch it. I actually made a video on Instagram showing the whole setup, so to speak, on the streets of New York.
All right, cool. Hey, hang out with us, Back Shamo, because I'm going to bring the Arm Fisherman up here.
You got it, brother.
What's up, Arm Fisherman? Give us that update, man.
What up? What up? Can you hear me? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. Hey, this is the first time we actually talked personally, huh?
Yeah, personally. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've been following you for a long time, and I've yet to talk to you, and I've been wanting to talk to you, so I'm glad this is happening.
Yeah, me too. And anytime that you need some updates on anything that I've got going on, just let me know. But yeah, in a general nutshell, for those that maybe don't know, I got arrested in Ball Harbor for open carry. A year later, I filed a lawsuit, and I was doing it pro se. And Brian showcased my my deposition that actually came from Don Andre investigations. And one fact that people don't know is I actually gave that to him first because he was rebuilding his channel.
Right.
And, it jump started his new channel so that he could, get back to where he was. So, but anyway, I go through this deposition. I have to file all this paperwork, all this stuff. I missed something, and then I had to go to the appellate court. So I redo it. I send off what I missed in the appellate court, and the appellate court, they wait 3 months, and then they send it back to me saying, oh, what they decided in the original wouldn't have made any difference because the police officer, and this is what really kind of is going to set off a lot of people, is that the police had arguable, reasonable, articulable suspicion. Make that make sense.
Yeah, really.
So basically, it wasn't about the filings or anything that I was filing. It was the fact that the courts decided that it was arguable reasonable suspicion, which, you know, I've talked to other lawyers about this decision, and even those gun lawyers are dealing with the same thing. The same exact thing is that because we're carrying guns, even though it's lawful, we're supposed to give up our Fourth Amendment right, and I was bewildered by it.
And that video that Don Andre Investigations did on you, it's on your channel as well, right?
Yes, it is.
And
it's buried deep in there.
yeah, I was going to say, I could not, I was looking for it on your channel. I could not find it.
I'll find it and I'll send you an email to it. The one, look at my main page, like you did where you see videos.
Yeah.
That's actually them depositioning me. You know, and like all this stuff is just wild. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and for those who don't know what the Armed Fisherman is talking about, I highly suggest going over to the Armed Fisherman's channel and subscribing there, because not only is the Armed Fisherman an activist on the internet, this guy puts his money where his mouth is, straps on a firearm. What is it? It's a Glock, isn't it? Don't you have a Glock?
Yep, Glock 23, and the AR is very.
Yeah, and the AR-15, which frickin' freaks everybody out. And if you don't think it's dangerous carrying an AR-15, even though you can, legally speaking, in Florida, you have a lot of brain-dead lemmings who are propagandized to believe that is a weapon of war that should only be on the battlefield. And oh my God, if it's on our streets, freak out. Mike is literally putting his life in mortal jeopardy by acting in accordance with the law. And if you look at some of his most popular videos, and I'm going to him right now, and hit the popular button, you will see how these cops respond and react in the face of having taken an oath to protect and defend Mike's rights to do what he's doing. And Mike, I don't even know how you do it without your voice shaking, because any normal person, and I'm not saying you're not normal, but you're a cut above the rest of us by not letting your nerves get the best of you. Because when all those guys are pointing their guns at you and your GoPro is recording the whole thing, it's like, dude, you got my respect.
Yeah. I'll give you a little backstory how I got to kind of that point. You know, growing up as a kid, you know, you can see I'm a little lighter. I'm not super dark, and I'm not super light, but I got picked on as a kid my whole life. You know, from both sides of the spectrum. And it was always name calling this, and it built a lot in me to stand up for myself. And that's what you're seeing when they confront me, and me trying to fight. And I'm fighting for myself at that point, and nobody else is doing it because they're willing to run me over. They're willing to point guns at me. They're willing to take me to jail. They're willing to do any of this. They're almost willing to kill me. I've got a video where he's like, if he points that gun, I'm going to off him. He's done.
Yeah, and the poetic, and we're watching one of your videos on silent mode right here, and the poetic and grave irony to what Mike is doing is, and anybody, I don't care if it's a First Amendment auditor, Second Amendment auditor, Fourth Amendment, or whatever, when you're out there doing this kind of stuff, you are actually standing for the rights of the person who's standing in front of you, or the group of people who are standing in front of you trying to take those rights away. You're even standing for their rights. And how about that for an irony?
Well, what's the one saying you always say? An injustice against one is an injustice against all.
Yep.
So it takes people like me, like Rogue Nations, the James Madison's, as much as whether you like chili or not, the chilies, there are people that we are trying to stand on something, and we all have. There's no script to this. It's not like there's a handbook saying this is the way you have to be. We are all different people, so you're gonna get, even in my videos, there's times I'm very calm, and then there's times that I get upset, and I'm very and after guns pointed at you for years, eventually you get, some days you get to a breaking point, and some of those are my best videos, but it's also that frustration. I'm like, I'm getting sick and tired of this. When are you guys gonna?
Yeah, but I mean, everybody needs to see the humanity come through, because at the end of the day, that's all we all are as humans. Let me, Mike, while I got you here, I'm going to play this video with the audio. Can you see your screen where this is playing? Can you see this? Okay, we're going to watch one of these harrowing interactions with a police officer who is about to violate Mike's right, not only under the Second Amendment, but also under Florida state statute. And what is that statute, Mike?
790.25, section 2, subsection H.
Yeah, H. Here we go. Listen to this, guys.
This is cringy.
Hey, bro. Hey. I was literally on my way right here.
Look at this guy's gun. Mike's life is hanging in the balance. All it would take is I mean, I am not saying this to joke around, but we've already seen law enforcement agencies across the country, specifically Okaloosa, Florida, where all it has to happen for him to unload that magazine is an acorn to drop. We are talking about if a dog bark, he's got his finger. Well, it doesn't look like it's on the trigger right there, but it's close. All it would take is a horn to honk, a roadster going by and backfiring, and Mike's life is permanently altered or gone. Watch this.
Get on the ground, hands out, down like an airplane. Get on the ground. Don't even fucking put your hands out. Hands down on your belly.
Hold it right there.
Hands out.
Now, Daniel Schaefer.
Yes, I'm glad you're reading my mind, man. Go for it. You have the floor. You have the floor.
That's all I was gonna say is that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
That like an airplane. You're trying to. He wants you out like an airplane and just fall flat on your face. Like.
Yep. And they become rapid fire, unreasonable. Even the most serious, sober-minded person cannot possibly follow the commands. Even the guy who's given the commands couldn't follow these commands. So if you make one wrong move, like Mike was saying, Daniel Shaver, he's in that hallway that La Quinta Inn, had absolutely done nothing wrong. He's surrounded by the Mesa police. Philip Brailsford and his manager are just giving rapid fire commands to which he cannot obey. He makes one wrong move, and they even tell him, if you make one wrong move, we're going to end your life. That's the situation that Mike's in right here. And for people, it sickens me when people say, oh, yeah, the armed fisherman is just doing this for clicks and views. Oh, yeah. Is it worth the clicks and views if you get a couple holes in your heart? No, I don't think so. This is how important rights are.
And another thing.
Okay.
People call me a martyr, and they're like, oh, I'm like, I don't want to be shot. I want what I didn't know is this law. So when I started this whole thing was to expose the law so that we all got taught, police and the people. And in 5-6 years I've almost accomplished it.
Yep. And thank God you have a global audience. We need to get him up over 200,000 subscribers. He's sitting at 190 right now. Let's watch some more of this.
Your belly. You fucking touch one of those guns, I'm going to shoot you. I am not touching. I'm just going to.
He said to you what Philip Brailsford said to Daniel Shaver. If you do this, I am going to shoot you. What the heck? Yeah, no pressure.
Fishing. I was on my own. You're walking down the middle of the street. I was literally on my way to fishing, man. Keep your hands out. Look, man. Keep your hands out. I'm not. Dude, we're not fishing. I was on my way to fishing right here, bro. In the middle of the street. That's not. Look, man. I'm on my way to.
Pause it. Were you gonna say something?
It gives me chills every time I watch this video.
I've got chills right now. The hair in the back of my neck is standing up straight.
Fishing. Look, I'm there. I'm 100 yards, less than 100 yards. Fishing back there. I was on my way to fishing. I was on my way to fishing. It's to and from, sir. I don't know what your deal is. I'm not touching anything. I don't know what your deal is.
Cuff him up real quick.
I would like to call my lawyer. I don't consent to any search or seizures of my property. And you're not fishing. You're absolutely right. When I saw you. Hey, if you want, we can do this civilly. You can take all my fire, do whatever you got to do. Were you fishing, yes or no? I was on my way to fishing. You were walking down the side trying to investigate this.
How do they propose that you get to your fishing spot without your gun? Should it be UPS to you or something? What the heck?
I guess I'm supposed to friggin' Uber Eats my firearm. Like, what do I do? I mean, like, that's why the law is very clear. Going to and returning from. I can't make it any easier. It's in black and white. And the messed up thing, it's the same law that allows the police to friggin' carry.
Yep.
Same law.
And you people joke around all the time. You had one job. Law enforcement has one job, and it's in their name, law. The cops are breaking the law by interrupting and molesting the free travel of Mike to his nearest fishing hole. Because 790.25 section H or whatever it is, and Mike can correct us, says the very thing that Mike can do that the cops are keeping him from doing.
There's actually a law.
Oh, go ahead.
There's actually a law that's a 2nd-degree misdemeanor, and it's called harassment of fishers and hunters. And it's a 2nd-degree misdemeanor. And I actually questioned the cop that arrested me about it, and he's like, and I'm like, but this is right here. They're committing a 2nd-degree misdemeanor by harassment of fishers and hunters.
Oh, you're one of them, aren't you, Mike?
Oh yeah, I'm one of those.
You're one of them. I know. Somebody said about Mike, about the cops. They are always fishing. Good point. Touche. Yeah. They are always fishing.
Always
fishing. Okay, but it's not fishing when you're. You have to understand the law, sir. Let me roll over. My shoulder. I have bad shoulder issues, man. I have bad shoulder issues. I've got.
They don't care that Mike's got shoulder issues. They don't care that this isn't North Korea or communist China. They're going to do what they want to do.
Impingement syndrome. Okay. I'm not going to fight you guys because at the end of the day. What's your name?
Yeah, I love that. We've got our guns pointed at you, and your life is in mortal jeopardy. Just relax.
I've committed. Open carry is illegal in Florida, and I understand you think because you're fishing, but you weren't fishing. You're walking down the sidewalk. You have to understand the law, sir. Okay, we'll get to it.
Hey, Mike, real quick, what resulted in this? Did you bring a lawsuit? Did you get a settlement on this or anything?
No, this is a whole different town. This is way north of Miami. I didn't even pursue this one because when I went to get all the information, it was under investigation. So I couldn't get any information. I couldn't get body cams. I couldn't get police reports, nothing. So I still don't know. I don't even know none of these guys' names.
Oh, crap. That's a bummer. How long ago was this?
This is a revisit. I want to say this one's like 3 years old. Okay. The next one I'm pursuing is going to be in Clearwater. They detained me for over 45 minutes, and I was in the back of their police cruiser with a concealed weapon.
Oh, wait, they put you in the back of the police cruiser and didn't frisk you first?
No, they came up.
God.
They stripped the AR. They took my guns, all this stuff. They left my camera on me. They left my phone on me. They stuck me in the back of the car. I ended up, and I have a gun on me. They point my rifle. They put it on the hood, barrel facing me in the back of the car.
God.
I'm like, you shouldn't point my gun at me. And he's like, it's not loaded. I'm like that. That doesn't make a difference, dude. That's number one rule. Don't point your gun at nothing you don't want destroyed, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm sitting in the back and I pull my phone out and I go live. And during that time, during the live, somebody called and gave them my name. And that was the only reason I got out of that car. Because a 911 caller gave my name.
Okay, guys, I don't want to play any more of this because I really want you to go to Mike's channel, The Armed Fisherman, and watch it for yourself. It's got 679,000 views on it. It is well worth the watch. All I would ask you to do before you hit the play button is put yourself in Mike's shoes. Because I mean, this sounds so cliche, and I hate that it does, because when it does, nobody takes it seriously. But what happened to Mike here, and what potentially could have happened to him, is something that could have happened to one of your loved ones, your brother, your sister, your father, your mother, your sons, your daughters, even you. When you're walking in accordance with not only the Second Amendment, but also the laws of the state that you're in, and the cops are woefully unaware and ignorant of them, it can cost you your life. That's how important this is. Somebody had put in the chat when I first started playing this video something to the effect of the founding fathers would have been proud of YouTubers, and I agree. Some of them, and Mike is one of them.
I try. I do my best.
Any closing thoughts there, Mike?
No, but I just really appreciate the first time we have actually got to talk, and anytime, my email is always open to you, and I always try to send you anything that I see that's like, especially with your commentary. That's what I love, is because you actually bring in more. I get into it, but you bring more in depth and more insight to some of, whether it be my videos or other First Amendment or just complete police corruption. So I really appreciate the work that you do, and keep on doing what you do.
Hey, same back at you. Do me a favor, email me at contact@highimpactflix.com, and we'll swap phone numbers. I want to put you in my address book, because we're planning on making some trips to Florida, and it'd be great to hook up with you.
Oh yeah, man. Awesome.
All right, man.
I'll shoot you an email here in a minute.
Okay, sounds good, Mike. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Take care.
Later, everybody.
Hey, lose the name. You're on board. How you doing, man?
Hey, Brian. How you doing?
Sorry you had to wait so long.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries about the wait. I just wanted to say I've been following you for a while, and you do amazing job.
Hey, lose the name. You're on board. How you doing, man? Oh, let's see. Can you mute your speakers? I'm getting feedback on you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right there?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to congratulate you on your channel. You do very good at it. But I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while, specifically so that you can watch a certain channel on YouTube from this guy named Santos Bonacci, Law and Language. And in that video, he gives a remedy to getting out the system. Because
Santos Bonacci.
Yes.
Let's see. It actually came up in my when I searched for it in my address bar. Let's see.
You can also find it on Promethean Reach XV11.
Okay. All right, go ahead, man. I don't want to sidetrack you. Go ahead. I'll try to find it later.
So I just wanted you to watch that, and then do a video on the remedy that he gives. Is it a good remedy? Can we do something more than what he's saying?
Can you kind of encapsulate his thought on things?
Well, what he says is lose the name, win the game, because everything that you do from when you're born starts with your birth certificate.
Yeah, and you're talking about the all caps corporate fiction and all that,
right?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. I just had a live stream with Brandon Williams, and he was talking about that. And tomorrow we're going to be talking to All Enslaved, which is along the same lines.
Right. But he gives like more like a step by step on what to do, and he shows you. And he also gives you other channels and information to keep going down that path to learn more. Someone like Mark Hollywood 6641. So I just wanted to reach out to you, let you know about that so that you can watch that video, and then maybe do a video on your own to see what the remedy that he gives. Is it a good way to start?
Okay, sounds good. Can you do me a favor? Can you send me an email or Facebook me his actual YouTube link?
Yeah, I have in High Impact Flicks. I've also went to your Facebook one, and I put a picture of the video, and I put a few comments in there.
Okay,
for
do
you to look into.
do it for my Facebook page again because I just things get buried. I apologize. It's I'm really bad at answering that stuff.
Yeah, I watched that video over like 20 times, and I'm very interested on what this guy says because I think he's on the money.
All right, good deal. We'll do.
All right.
When I see that link you send me, I'll take a look at it.
All right, Brian, have a good one. Keep it up.
Okay, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
You too.
Yep.
Let's see.
This guy's saying because I think he's on.
I think we got back to Shamil. Back. Are you still there?
Yeah, Brian. Miller's. There are a few people dropped the link for the Miller's video on your private chat.
Oh, good. Let's see. Let's look at that. That's what I want. Let's see here. Open a link in a new tab. And let's bring that over here. Man, I got a gazillion tabs open. All right, let's see. Let me try to find this. Jackson, Kentucky. Here we go. This is probably it. Now, just to give you a little backdrop, Mr. Miller was in the room just a little bit ago, and he said that in Kentucky, he was legally carrying his firearm. And let's see. And a trooper comes up to him and takes his firearm out of his holster. Let's see if this is the right one.
He ain't pulling out.
No, he's watching.
He's trying to watch us to see what the hell we're doing. Ain't that the very one that already stopped us?
Let's see what the sign says here.
That's what I thought.
Oh, okay, he's got a long rifle on him. I looked away. What does the sign say? Rights are like muscles. If you don't use them, you'll lose them. Again, the state is Kentucky. I agree, anti-globalist. I love the sign.
You will walk up by the college and around, okay?
Up here?
Yep, right up through here and we can cut down.
I don't want to walk. I'll stay around town. I don't want to.
You will. It'll be around town.
I don't want to look for the houses, neighborhoods.
Oh, well, there's just these two houses and then it's the college. Okay.
See what I'm saying? I want to see it.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I was saying, though, you could just cut back down. But we'll just stay on this part. Because that way everybody sees it.
Well, I'm getting cops to change now.
Yeah, here he comes. There he finally pulled out.
Make sure you stay 6 feet away.
I am 6 feet away from you. Yeah, I know.
So he's got a sidearm and a long rifle in a constitutional carry state, Kentucky. Mr. Miller, if you're still in the room, what
Everybody gives a nod and a shake, don't they?
what city is this? There's only a minute left on this. I wonder if this is the actual arrest video. Jackson, Kentucky. Oh, you know what? It says that, doesn't it? Yeah, look at that. Revealing my poor reading comprehension skills. may have the wrong video here. Yep, I have the wrong video. Let's see. Let's go back to the Miller's channel. Let's go to the popular. Which video is it, Mr. Miller? If Mr. Miller can come back into the room or just let me know. He says it's not this video. Which video is it?
Hey, Brian, it's a second video. Brian.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks, back, Shmuel. This man was packing a firearm like he's some kind of gangster or something, making it sound as bad as possible. This man was packing a firearm. Okay. All right. Whatever, bud.
Property taxes.
I talked to John that day. I was packing my gun that day.
He said John told him he was allowed to pack this inside of the.
There he goes. He's got his firearm in his hand.
I did not say that. You're lying.
This is your line. Okay, not a government building. You're lying. He was allowed to pack it in his school.
This is a public building.
This is public buildings.
You need to learn the law. That's the problem. You cops don't know the law and you think you run everything.
Mr. Miller.
Trooper Day's here. What's your name? Trooper Day.
I talked to John off this longer last time. They were standing right there.
What was it again?
And you said, I said, John said I couldn't.
You said John.
I said, John was standing right there. I packed my pistol in.
I stopped. You just burst them in and nobody identified themselves. It's just called in. Sure you go.
Mr. Miller, did he drop the mag or clear the chamber or anything before he took it and held it like this?
That's a shame, cops. I said you leave where it can't be normal citizens. Are you on duty or off duty? And don't every government building have a sign posted with just sweet. Well, you show me. Are you on drugs, sir?
Are you on drugs?
He's shaking. I'm just having a conversation.
Just calm down. It'll be all right.
He's the one upset shaking.
I mean, it's I am asking you to please shut us.
You can't tell me to shut up.
So you're on
It's freedom of speech.
Shut up. We can't make it.
So this cop who took, he swore an oath, he gave his word that he would uphold the Second Amendment, violated that, and now he's attempting to violate the First Amendment right to freedom of speech. This is what I'm talking about, man. The people who are supposed to be serving and protecting you do the exact opposite 100% of the time. And they think it's funny. I wish we could hear it better, but that you get the gist of that. Unfortunately, that music playing in the background can get somebody like a copyright strike. Oh man, that right there is the face of tyranny. Any comments on that, back Shmuel?
Not really, Brian. I mean, it's we're done. We're done. That's all I have to say.
Do you have any hope that we can turn this thing around?
No.
I need some hope. You gotta just lie to me. Tell me sweet little lies or something.
With you, bro. Come on. I'm not gonna, sugarcoat. None of that bullshit.
Mr. Miller says that his arrest is on here. Oh, it's not this video. This isn't the arrest video. Maybe I'll set up some mods in the future, and we can have people be able to post those in the chat. This is my first StreamYard live stream on this channel. Steve Sanders drops a super chat and says, so the individual damaged my phone in the police lobby, pled not guilty on Wednesday at the arraignment. Now on to pretrial. I've got some footage on my channel your audience may enjoy. Local Florida BWC. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. Back to Mr. Miller. What video? You know what? I'll probably let me do another video because I want this live stream to be a little bit shorter than it looks like it's turning out to be. I didn't expect to do 2.5 hours here. But guys, I appreciate you joining. Steve will probably, if you can remind me in the next video that we do, we'll try to get to that. But I got to head out of here. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Before you, yeah, I can see a brick. I can see you on there. Before you head out, make sure you give this video a like and share it with everybody. You know, the goal here, the goal on this channel is to try to set brush fires of freedom in the minds of men to where we can all stop being so divided, get together on basics, on fundamentals like what is crime, what is law, what is the role of law enforcement, are they legitimate, what should we do about the court system, the unjust injustice system, and hopefully carve out for ourselves more freedom and liberty for the rest of us and for our children and grandchildren. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys. Love you. Make sure that you know that the price of freedom is now and will always be eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. Back to Shmil. Thank you also for stepping up, and I appreciate all the other callers.
Thank you. Take care, Brian. All
right,
best.
take care, guys.